Peace, everyone. Welcome to another sermon, our weekly sermon. I'm just gonna allow time for people to connect so that we could start the sermon for today. Today, the topic is our relationship with the Quran. I feel like this is a pretty straightforward topic, but sometimes we need to be reminded into certain things because we get maybe stuck. Peace, Hilal. Maybe we get stuck into certain things. What's up, King? Peace, peace, peace. Maybe sometimes we get stuck into the roots and to the weeds, and we start to focus on certain things, and we maybe move away a little bit from what Quran is telling us. Yes, it still means that we're believers. Yes, it means that we're serving our God, but there are things that are more beneficial than others. Peace, Fidel. Peace, Ahmed. Where's the salam, brother? What happened to salam, brother? What's up, Kamal? Hey, I read the Quran today, and I'm not sure if I took it out of context, but God speaks about the coming of Jesus. I'm not sure where you found that in the Quran. This is probably something in regards to you finding things implicitly. Peace, Suhail. We can discuss this after the sermon, or if you want to tell me more about the verse, I can maybe talk about it. Peace, Farah. Peace, Khadija. Did you see the God logic verse, Daniel? No, because I think, peace, Marwa. When it comes to the Islamic dilemma, they jump into the hadith to try to solidify the position that the Prophet was using the Bible of the time. And therefore, you see, it is saying what's in between his hands. But if you look at the context, it doesn't mean that way at all. Peace, Lady K, XL, Yaqub, salam, brother. How you guys are doing? It's been an excellent week. It's going to be an amazing weekend as well, God willing. Turkey, Habibi, peace. We've been making some progress on TikTok for sure. Been jumping on some random Sunnis and Christian Sunnis and Christian platforms. There was this not conspiracy, but this is some contentions that was happening some weeks by some individuals from the Quran alone community or new believers, and the Sunnis keep piling up. They want to try to eliminate the light of God, but as soon as somebody who knows what they're saying comes up, they start to struggle. One thing that I consistently find with Sunnis is that when you start to debate them, they don't want to talk about the Quran. They want to talk about history and everything outside of the Quran. And because they have these regulations that are outside of the Quran, these presuppositions, and therefore that means that whatever they're saying is truth. I had a conversation with an individual in Arabic, primarily in Arabic, in regards to how the verse about the 5 suckles, it was actually taken while the Prophet passed away, but that was from a really skewed, unknown hadith from a book that nobody really actually reads. But it shows that there was 10 suckles, got abrogated to 5, and then the verses about the 5 suckles also, when the Prophet passed away, it was taken with him. But then the one in Sahih Muslim, which they like to mistranslate, clearly states that they were reciting it from the Quran. And of course, they give you apologetics, but as they give you apologetics, they like to insult you and make fun of you and say all these certain things, thinking that they have the high ground. This is showing the crowd the superiority that they have. It's just this complex of their mind, narcissism. But then when you jump back into the Quran, you can see that they don't really know what they have. So how many suckles, brother? It's 1 suckle. Mahdi, salam. The debate was with some guy called Muhammad 24, some other West Side. They call me out, and when I come, the guy, he says to me, I'm gonna be a fair host, okay? So they asked me a question. I answer the question. The question requires some premises. So I say one line, they mute you or they interrupt you, and they have a follow-up question. Okay. And then you answer the follow-up question, and then you're going to ask them a question. No, they have another follow-up question. And then you defeat their position, and then they want to change the goalpost, have a question somewhere else. It's my turn to ask a question. No. But then there's this individual in that same chat, West Side or whatever. He was grilling me about my prayer. I asked him one question about his prayer. I was like, "You're talking directly to the Prophet," and he goes, "Oh no, the angels are sending the salams." And then I was like, "Yeah, so how does that work?" He passes it to the guy next to him because he can't answer. And then the other guy makes a fool of himself. Apparently, the angels are the ones who are bringing the salam to the Prophet, and the Prophet is answering. So I asked him quite simply: if two people are in the room or sending salam to the Prophet, does the Prophet hear both salams at the same time, or is there a queue? He goes, no, of course there's a queue. I was like, so on Friday when there's 500 million people, so and for every salam he has to respond, and they're all saying Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So now there's a queue of people that have to say it. Now, if I put in the room 10 people, they will say it like 10 times in like a matters of seconds, right? So he's going to reply to every single one of them, especially on Fridays, right? And he goes, I've already answered this. I'm just going to let West Side deal with you again. It's hilarious, man. When was the debate? It wasn't recorded. This was just some of those TikTok things. People are peace. Dr. A said, there's a peace, Shabana, peace, key custom. Yeah. So and yesterday they just come up with all these weird explanations on why you need hadith, yet it doesn't make sense. So the man gives me a hypothetical yesterday. He goes, so if Umar, he gives you Surah Ikhlas, chapter 114, 13, 112, 112. If Umar gives you Surah Ikhlas in the Quran, you would take that from him, right? It's Quran. And so if he gives you hadith, you won't take it, you would doubt it. But he gives you the Quran. I'm like, man, you're giving me a hypothetical. But let's stick to the reality of what you guys say. Instead of Umar, let's talk about Uthman, another, a major caliph that lived during the time of the Prophet. He's often attributed to the codification of the Quran. It's literally called the Uthmani Quran, right? Where's the Uthmani hadith book? Like, this man is somebody who has clearly been attributed in history for someone who propagated and worked hard on the Quran, standardized it so that people would have a certain way of reading it, and so that there wouldn't be like many ways of putting it together. And then people give that credit to him, that he was part of that process because he had the power to do so, because he was the leader of the time. Now, why didn't he codify no hadith books? So your example with Omar can't be substantiated. It's a hypothetical. But let's see if you could do the same with Uthman. And at that point, he ran away. How do you know that the Quran is preserved? All right, can we actually can you show me in the Quran where it says that the Prophet has legislative power? Oh, after you tell me how the Quran is preserved. Oh, okay, so that's how we know. Oh, circular reasoning. I don't know how it's circular reasoning when you use God as like evidence. How do you know that pork is haram? Because God said so. Circular reasoning. Damn, bro, what is your interpretation of Jum'ah? Jum'ah means congregation. So when people are coming together, there's going to be if someone calls towards the prayer during people are congregating, you should leave what you're doing, your entertainment, you should leave your trade, and you go pray with everybody. So peace, everybody. Mikael, bro, took me to a scholar to check if I'm on the right path, but the scholar learned something he never knew. He'll be confused now. Peace, bro. Nathaniel, appreciate you coming by, man. They love hypotheticals. It's always about hypotheticals. And I am working on a video. This is going to crush a lot of things. It's a long content form. It's a long content video. It would be discussing, first of all, what is the concept of what they call hadith rejection Quranists. Because ladies and brothers and sisters, or ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, that's what I say on their stuff. But the concept of hadith rejection, it's not we reject the history of hadith, or we do not reject like the entirety of the corpus of hadith. We reject its religious authority. We don't need it. This is the exact same thing as like Chinese proverbs or historical like stories about what's it called? The Romans or the Talmud. You can collect and write whatever you want. We can't attribute it to the Prophet. We have no proof of that. And your chain is not good enough. It does not make sense. Okay, so this is one of our sides. We cannot attribute it to the Prophet. If there's some truth in it, the Quran already said it, so it's unnecessary. But it definitely does not have religious authority. So there's some stuff that where it does align with what the history is showing. It's not something that we would reject. And then there's some hadith where it's like, wish for your brother what you wish for yourself. I don't know if the Prophet said that, but that statement, it has some elements that's true in the Quran. It's not something that I'm going to reject. So what does it mean to be a hadith rejector? What's the Quran is? There is no halal and haram outside of the Quran. There is no anything that is legislative or religiously authoritative outside of the Quran. Oh, well, it says to obey the messenger. Yes, that's in regards to authority, not religious authority, but leadership authority. So it's just like you have a general in the army, or a president of a country, or a CEO of a company. The messenger is sitting in those positions. He's running the community. So if the messenger tells you to, like, hey, flank them behind the mountain, you do that. If the messenger is saying, like, go bring the people that are going to fight, you do that. That's what it means to obey the messenger. It doesn't mean that he has the power to say halal and haram. Oh, no. And the hadith, when something is haram, then it came from God. It didn't come from the messenger. Okay, so that's obeying God, just like the Quran. Because that's what you're saying. So it's obeying God, right? Oh, yeah. So, okay, how do you obey the messenger then? It's the same story. But yeah, so you have to present we reject the religious authority. Zionist agent propaganda for Abrahamic records, against the Abraham records. So that kind of embarrassed you. Salam can. Mutashabihat is things that are that similar in nature. Okay, tashabah alayhim. So it's, for example, they did not crucify Jesus, but it was made apparent to them. Tashabah alayhim. It's things that they look like it. So when it comes down to the Quran, mutashabihat are verses that are similar in nature, or there's some forms where the words can mean more than one thing. So, but you don't need to live in those verses, because we have the verses that are extremely clear and precise, and now we're going to talk about that. Okay. Man, jeez. Okay, I'm gonna start the sermon soon, but please appreciate people coming up. Peace. Awesome. I'll take some questions at the end. Habibi, Sulaiman. Do you mean the Prophet just FedEx delivery agent? Actually, I got my Quran from Noon delivery driver when I was in Saudi Arabia. My big Quran over there, you see it? I got that from Noon delivery driver. He said to me something about hadith, like he told me his hadith of the day, but I didn't manage to write it down. But yes, the Prophet is not a delivery agent. He is a messenger giving me a message, but he himself is going to live his life. So if the messenger is around, and while he's giving the message, I'm going to protect and support the messenger. So he's in charge. I'm okay with that. And sorry, guys, it seems like my thing is lagging. Is it lagging for you guys? I believe it should. It's lagging because something is up. But we're about to start my sermon. So now, can you please divorce? Quran only does it. No. It's not by words, brother. So divorce, the first divorce, you have to start going through the period, 40 days, I believe, right? So that. So you have to hold on to her. You're not divorced yet. You have to go through the days. And then when the days are complete, then if you're still persistent that you want to get divorced, then that's your first divorce. It's not saying talaq. Doesn't make sense. Can you please explain the divorce from the Quran only? Yes. So you divorce her, as in you wait 40 days. You both agree that you want to divorce. It's the first divorce. You do that the second time, and then the third time, no, she has to actually go have a new relationship with someone else. And it's not like you just have like 5 minutes and then you divorce her just so that you go beside. No, the concept is that you guys are not compatible for each other. You guys are going to cost each other your religion, because if there's concepts of divorce and coming back, this could signify that you're actually into a toxic relationship. And you don't want to be in a toxic relationship, because at the end of the day, it can cost you your religion, where you are prioritizing this relationship over your hereafter. And obviously, you guys are having these issues where you keep breaking up to a severity where you're divorcing and you're not capable of tolerating each other. So if you're just running to come back, then at that point, then maybe you're caring more about her than your religion and God. So one of the verses in the concept of the divorce, it states that, like, do not hold on to them do not hold on to them just so that you would deny them marrying somebody else if they already had agreement that they're marrying someone else. And actually, if you truly believe in a day and judgment, like, it's more pure for you to be able to let her go. Yeah, so right, exactly. So you divorce is twice, and then she's not legal for you anymore. In their curriculum, it's 3 times. Then she's not legal for you. It doesn't make sense. So, all praise to the Lord, Lord of the worlds. Exalted is you, our Lord. Exalted is you, the one that knows what's within our souls. Exalted is you, the one that gave us life, gave us the opportunity to meet you, to understand your book. Exalted is the one who sent the book on his servant and made his book a light for us to get guided with. Our Lord, we ask you to guide us to you and allow us to be among those that are successful in the world and the hereafter. Successful in their religion, successful in their mind, successful in their bodies, and successful in their endeavors. For we want to be striving for you, our Lord, so make us of those that strive to you and for you. Our Lord, exalted is you, the one that can hear and see, understand everything, for there is no knowledge without you. Our Lord, we ask you to increase us in knowledge and to accept the best that we do and forego our mistakes for us, our parents, and our children, and the parents of our parents, for whoever strove in your name or whoever will strive in your name. Please, our Lord, we ask you to intercede on those that are believers but got lost in the world in certain things, but they've done positive actions in their faith. We're calling you, maybe not as often as you deserve, but our Lord, you are the one who understands. You're the forbearing, you're the merciful. Our Lord, we are threatened by the fire that you promised those that deserve the fire. Our Lord, we are okay of being an animal or a plant or an insect in your heaven and not be in hell, as with our sins and our transgressions. Our Lord, forgive us and allow us to go into your mercy, for you are the merciful. Exalted is you above everything they ascribe to you. You are our Lord, you are our King. You are the one who gives us the truth, and you are the one who dismisses and makes the falsehood perish. Exalted is you, our Lord. Please let us enter a door of honesty and let us exit in honesty as well. You are the one that guides us to what is upright. So, our Lord, we ask you to fix our minds and to fix our souls and to fix our children and to fix our parents and to fix this world so that there's more people who are thinking about you. Our Lord, please allow our efforts to not go in vain, for you promised that you do not let the good deeds go to waste of a good doer. And let our efforts be of those that are guiding towards you. Let us be part of your plan, on the good side of your plan. Use us, our Lord. Use us as your soldiers. Use us as your people. Use us as your mouthpiece. Use us as your hands. Allow us to be the ones who are feeding in your name and helping in your name and raising and guiding in your name. For you are the one who's feeding, and you are the one who's guiding, and you are the one who's raising. Our Lord, we ask you to help us against all these that are transgressing against us, that truly do not like your book or cannot stand the truth. Our Lord, we ask you to shield us and protect us from their plans and what they do, for there is no fear when we are with you. We only fear you and we only think of you. Please allow the Quran to be something that is extremely special to our lives and increase us in knowledge in what you have said in your good book, the book that you brought down on your blessed prophet, as you brought down books to your blessed prophets before. Our Lord, we have accepted this book as truth, and we are following this book. So please, God, accept us for who we are and improve us so that we find ourselves in a good standing on the day of judgment, where you are satisfied with us, where we are meeting the standards to go into your amazing, beautiful paradise that you promised us through your messengers and through your prophets. Our Lord, we ask you to shield us from hellfire, from the pain of hellfire. It's not something that I can imagine. It's not something that many of us can imagine, but our Lord, we ask you to truly help us from this and to shield us from this and show us in our lives to what we need to do so that we would avoid it. When we do sin or when we do error, please God, we ask you for your forgiveness, and we ask you to repent on us and to show us our mistakes so that we can correct ourselves. Exalted is you above everything that you ascribe to you, and all praise to the Lord, Lord of the worlds. Ladies and gentlemen, today's brothers and sisters, today's sermon is in regards to your relationship with the Quran. There are many verses that can be brought up, trying or detailing to you the importance of you falling in love with this book. This book should be something that is of such guidance and love that it's almost living among you. It is something that you have to show its respect. You have to give it its time. You have to imagine with it and walk with it. And this is something that's incredibly, incredibly important. When there are stories that are being told in the Quran about certain prophets, you might not know how the prophets look like. You might not know how the people around the prophets are. But you should be able to walk with the emotions that they walk through. Put yourself in Jacob's shoes when he lost his son. Put yourself in Joseph's shoes when he saw his brothers again, when he saw his young brother. Imagine that love that you have between you and your young sibling, as Joseph had with his young sibling. And then move to the other side and put yourself in the shoes of the young sibling, seeing his older brother. And imagine the rush and the emotions and the feelings that you have when you see him again. Walk yourself with Moses when he's first meeting his Lord. Walk yourself with David when he's judging between the people and the thoughts and the emotions that he had. Put yourself on the deathbed with Jacob when he's saying to his kids as his final words, what are you going to worship after me? What are you going to worship after I'm gone? Imagine you as the only thing that is on your mind on your deathbed is your Lord, and making sure that your kids are turning to God and to worshiping this single God that has given us everything. This only comes from love. This dedication and this desire and this obsession, it does not come out of fear. Nobody who truly is dreaded and scared and fearful of an entity with no love can remember such an entity with such desire, with such content and love and admiration. Yes, we do fear our God, but we love our God. If it was just based upon fear, then we would want to avoid him. We would want to avoid to be in his presence. We would want to avoid the interaction because we would just end up getting in trouble. This is something that we need to recognize in the Quran, that these individuals, these stories that we are being told, you need to find this empathy that is inside you so that you could relate to these stories, so that you could learn from these stories. Something that is incredibly important is these feelings that God has given us as human beings, is because these feelings are a way for us to understand what's happening. It's a reaction to the world. But the purer you are and the closer you are to God, the correct feelings you're going to have. Emotions are the ones that emotions are working upon feelings that you had. There is times where you have the feeling of being anger, rightfully so, because somebody insulted you. The emotion is yelling and showing that anger. That's why we call them emojis and stuff. You are showing the feeling that's inside you. Now, this relationship that you have with the Quran, it has to be something that is full of love. It is not something that is a burden for you to open the book and read it. If this is the case that you're living in, then there is something that is missing with this relationship that you have, that you should have with the Quran. I'm going to pull up a few verses and we're going to read them together so that you see what I'm trying to explain to you. But God says it much better than I do. So the first verse that we have that I'm going to put on the screen is the verse that we have right here. Those to whom we have given the book, which they recite its true recitation, those will believe in it. And whoever disbelieves in it, then they are those who are the losers. I seek refuge to God from the accursed devil. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the gracious, the merciful. الذين آتيناهم الكتاب. Sorry, this would be, I don't know where it went. الذين آتيناهم الكتاب يتلونه حق تلاوته أولئك يؤمنون به ومن يكفر به فأولئك هم الخاسرون. Those to whom we have given the book, which they recite its true recitation, those who will believe in it, and whoever disbelieves in it, then they are those who are the losers. I would want to change this translation just slightly. Those who recite, who are given the book, recite it its due recitations. حق تلاوته أولئك يؤمنون به. So its due recitations is the way that it's like it was meant A to be recited, but B, it's that time that they need to take in its recitation. So God is saying for it to be something that you believe in, you have to recite it in the dawn. You have to take the time and recite it at dawn, and to recite it at the settings of the sun or the declining of the sun till the twilight of the night. And in the night, use it so that you get closer to God, lest your Lord brings you to a place that is praiseworthy. This book here, you can truly find your mind being shifted in a way where it expresses the world to you that now you're starting to recognize these verses. You do not need to say them verbatim in your mind, but you remember certain events, and you remember certain things that God has said about himself, or you see it, it's like God is truly the one who brings life and death. God is truly holding all these animals by their forelock. Prostrating to my Lord right now seems something that I really want to do, because I have experienced what these individuals were talking about in the Quran right now in this moment. That's why it's called the remembrance. But for you, you have to truly delve and dive into this book onto levels where it is from your heart. It's not something that needs to be forced. Unfortunately, in this day and age, a lot of people are being forced to just repeat and regurgitate the Quran as if that's what it's supposed to be, a book of recitations, but not a book of reading. The word is called the Quran. It's a reading. It's not a recitation. Okay, that's a tilawa. But the reason why it's called the Quran, it's the difference between me telling you what the temperature is saying or me reading the temperature. Reading the temperature from a thermometer, I am understanding and on seeing and understanding the value, because the value is what I'm reading when I'm looking at a meter. See what I mean? And the Quran here, it's a reading for you to ponder upon what's happening so that you can improve your life. This is reflected again. The people who truly understand the book, they are individuals that know the book like they know their children. الذين آتيناهم الكتاب يعرفونه كما يعرفون أبناءهم وإن فريق منهم ليكتمون الحق وهم يعلمون. Those to whom we have gave the book recognize it as they recognize their children, but indeed a group among them are concealing the truth while they know. يعرفونه is know it, right? It's not just recognize, but they know it. It's like knowing the back of your hand. You know how it looks. Because these individuals that have been given the book, the ones that are truly on the path, they know what verses are there, what verses aren't there, the stories that are within it, because of how many times they have practiced this book. But this verse can be flipped a little bit, because a good believer should be spending enough time with their children that they know their children really well. Oh, my child's weakness is such this and this. My child is strong in these things. My child is sensitive in this topic. My child is weak in this thing. My child is strong in this thing. I know my child very well. Why? Because I'm spending so much time, I'm raising him. Because a good believer would spend time on his kids to raise them to be God-fearing children. And a bad believer would not spend time on his kids. So they don't really know their kids. And the people that have been given the book, they know like they know their children. So if you are somebody who's aware of their child and what their child is going through in the raising of your child, you're involved in it, then you'll also be involved in understanding this book, because you are very involved in reading and understanding what this book is saying. And if you're a bad person and you don't care about your kid, most definitely you're not going to care about what the Quran states, because it's just something that goes hand in hand. Something that you would find precious and valuable to you as something that you have control over, you're going to baby it literally and show this favoritism upon it because it's your child. It is something that you have a responsibility to. But now, on the other hand, you have this book that you also have a responsibility towards, because it needs its due recitation. It is a book that is going to heal your mind. It is a book that's going to guide you to your hereafter. It's a book that teaches you about your God. It's a book that answers your events and your situations that are going to your life. So you should also, in a sense, baby it, but you'll find that it's babying you. So it is almost like a father to you. It is almost like a brother to you. It is almost like a mother to you. It's almost like a child to you. The Quran is filling all aspects of life, where you can even hear your kid saying something to you because of you reading something, or your mother saying something to you because of something that is being presented to you, or your neighbor, or your friend, or the disbeliever down the street making fun of you. You can hear his voice, and God is telling you about these individuals in the Quran. This is something that is extremely beautiful, that truly we have to keep in mind. Now, I want you to recognize something in this verse. Yes, the disbelievers are saying something, but God is telling us something that's extremely important for us to remember. And if we have made it a non-Arabic reading or a non-parsed reading, they would have said, why is verse not elaborated as a non-Arabic and an Arabic? Say, it is for those who believe. So there's a concept of faith. It is a guidance and a healing. And this is what we need to concentrate on, that it guides and it heals. But for you to get healed, you need to visit the doctor. You need to take the medicine. You need to go through the time. There are things where time heals you because of the sickness that's within you. But you recognize that you are sick. And then there is things that you need to get guided to for you to get healed. So for example, if I am a person that have a problem with anger, that I yell and shout very quickly, then I need to recognize my problem, and for me to get guided to the solution, and for me to implement. And now I have the time, the concept of time, so that I would break these habits that I have. Now the Quran is guiding you to who you are. As God says that in this book, there are verses where the hairs of your body, your skin will get goosebumps out of fear. You will truly tremble from what is being said, because you recognize yourself in that verse. But then God will ease it for you, and he will say the things so that you would get closer and closer to the truth. Now, as we see this, God is telling us for the other side that don't have faith in this book. Is despite them saying they believe in the book, the way that we could test it, God is showing us right here. Sorry, one second. In the same verse, it says, as for those who do not believe, there's a deafness in their ears, and it's a blindness to them. Those are being called from a distant place. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I want you to ponder about this verse on a deeper level. If it's a person that doesn't truly believe in the word, is he a person getting guided by the word? No. Is he a person that is finding the healing and he's improving his situation? Absolutely not. So is he spending time with the book? Is she spending time with the book? No, she's not. Because she truly doesn't believe in it, or he doesn't believe in it. Because if they did, and I'm talking about a certain group, when it's being quoted to them, there's a sense of fear that needs to come when they hear it. It is something that you need to understand, that there is now a higher authority speaking. You need to be quiet, lest you find the mercy. And the mercy is not like, oh, okay, I'm going to have. The mercy is something that's in your brain. The mercy is something that you right now might have a contention about something. You might be aggravated about something. There might be a pain in your chest, a pain in your mind because of just the way that you're thinking. The stress might be killing you about something, but you don't recognize it because you got used to it. There are many people that have pain in their back. Their backs hurt constantly, chronic back pain. And when the back pain is fixed, they go, man, I don't know how I was living with that. Because they got so used to the pain, they forgot how it feels to be normal, to not have pain. They recognize that it's not comfortable, but they just got used to it. And it's the same thing inside your brain and your intellect. There's individuals that have some psychological issues due to the way that they handle themselves, that it became the norm to them. But they forgot how it feels to not overthink. They forgot how it feels to not worry. They forgot how it feels to not be negative and to slander people in their mind. They forgot how to feel where they're not like rolling their eyes at people because they forgot their innocence. And the Quran makes you recognize these things about yourself, and then it heals you. It heals your chest because you've recognized it. So now you know that this is not accepted by your Lord. This is not accepted by how you should be as a human being. Why? Because it causes you pain. And God states that if you're not going to follow our verses, you're not going to follow the truth, you're going to have a painful punishment. And the punishment starts here, especially in your mind. Sheikh, I'm going to have to mute you because you keep, yeah. So what I was trying to express is that these healing powers that God has imbued in the Quran, it only comes with this relationship that you have with the Quran. And if you're not spending time reading the Quran in the way that God has ordered us to read the Quran, then you're going to have these issues. Because us as human beings, we fail. Sorry, I'm just pulling up. We fail. We tend to fall into things where we start to grasp on the worldly life, and with the worldly life, it comes its pressures, and its pressures is not something that we can handle. Why? Because we're holding on to it. And the second we're capable of letting go of the worldly life, then you see your worldly life become extremely easy. No, I'm not telling you to leave your kids and your wives and go sit in a cave and do nothing. In fact, you are going to build in this world knowing that I'm going to buy a car that's going to break, that I'm going to raise a kid that's going to die. I'm building a house that's going to break. I'm building myself and I'm going to wither down. This is what it means to accept the actual finality of this world, the tragedy of this world. Because in heaven, we get to do this exact same things. I'm not sure about the children, but we get to do the exact same things, and where we build and collect, yet it doesn't get away. And then that is where it makes sense for you to go build on these skills and build on this knowledge forever. But in this worldly life, if you're going to hang on to it and not accept that it can go at any second, you're going to have issues. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to have mental pressures and worries. You're going to have these issues that it's difficult. Now we have the case of Jacob where his son left. The reason why Jacob was feeling bad is just because he could understand that he didn't know what his son was going through, but he knew his son was alive. In certain times, it's just easier to know that the person has passed away than knowing that he's alive, because you're feeling empathetic to possibly the pain that they're going through. This is what most of us are feeling about the people in Palestine right now. We can relate to some of the pain that they're going through only because we're seeing their emotions, but us ourselves, we're not experiencing it. We experience it with them for 5-10 minutes in our minds, maybe a minute, but we can go turn that off and then go back to concentrate on what we'd like to concentrate. But for them, there's no turning it off. And the reason why I brought that up is because in those situations, in such a dire situation, is when you have practiced your religion, it starts to show. That's the time when you truly have to show that patience that God has told you to practice. And that time you should still stand up and read the book because it's you. It shouldn't be something hateful because you believe that God is not answering your call. God is using you so that he would humiliate your enemy. But you're not being used the way that you would like to be used, but it's none of your business at this point. You are a servant and you have accepted the servitude. And you're going to get back what was taken from you times 10. You just have to be patient. But for you to recognize this, you need the book. You need the understanding of the book. And notice how I'm still saying the word book. I'm not saying the Quran. Because the people who were given the Torah, they recite the Torah, its due recitations. The ones that have been given the gospel, they will recite the gospel, its due recitation. The ones that have been given the Quran, they would recite it, its due recitations. Why? Because all of those are teaching you the book. That in general, they're all telling you the book. So this is a verse that is applicable to us because we have understood that this is our form of understanding the book, and that relationship is a must. It's something that is extremely important for us to remember this. That's why it's called the remembrance. That's why God has preserved it. Being a human being, technically, because of who we are, because of our weakness, is not easy. A tiger, go watch him. A tiger will sit in his position for hours. Do you think he's feeling bored? Do you think he's feeling a thousand thoughts and he's thinking about all the hit? No, he's sitting in his element, waiting for the trigger for him to react. And that's what most of these animals do. When they wake up, they're working all the way till they sleep. Sometimes sitting and being patient is how they're working, because that's what they need to do in that moment. Us as human beings, we cannot reflect that, unfortunately, because our mind gets the best of it. But when it comes down to what God is teaching us, it clears your mind. So you have the ability to sit in a room for 10 hours and your mind is content because you don't feel the boredom. You have not engraved in yourself this need to have a vice in this world that you need to sit and express yourself or show yourself in a way all the time. Or are you addicted to the social media that if you don't have it for 10 minutes, then you're going to feel bored? The concept of boredom is actually a negative reaction to who you are as an individual. You should be able to obviously work the whole day in things that are beneficial to you, but you should also be okay to sit in a room and there's nothing to do because you have the Quran in your mind, right? You have the remembrance there with you. You have the exaltation of your Lord, the pondering of your Lord. You can just sit and think about the universe and how much God has created. Think about the elements around you. Just look at your skin and they tell you there's billions of cells within you. Wow. That's what God has created in such a short time. I could look at this white wall and just remember how many bumps, and God knows how many bumps there are. How are you bored when there's so much to think about God? But if I'm going to sit there and, hey, I wonder what this person is doing, and I remember that moment when he said that to me, and I don't like that he said that to me, but he said that to me because 2 weeks ago, and I responded to him because that's what happened. And I remember when I was a kid, and that's what they did to me, and that and this, and I didn't really like school because, oh, well, if I concentrated better, those are going to pull you into an abyss in your mind. And many people, unfortunately, they're in that situation, but they don't know it. They're so easily triggered by the things that they have been programmed to accept, where it's a point of failure for them. Oh yeah, no, yeah, right now there is this assassination of a guy, but I'm on his team, so I hate everybody. So let me just sit here and say how much I hate them. I hate the other side. The other side is such a problem. They're making this country really bad, and I'm kind of like them, but I can't say that. But yeah, I hate them. Everyone else is the problem. What a terrible life. This life could be so good if you guys just accept my side and my view. Yeah, but then at this point, you've completely disregarded God. You've not mentioned God. You have not mentioned the solution to all your problems. That I have to tolerate. I have to be patient. I'm okay with what happens because it's the decisions of what these people are putting forth. My decisions is better, so I'm going to be that change that you want to see in the world. Isn't that what people keep saying? Well, God said it better. God said it better in the Quran. It's not me being the change God does not change. God does not change a people until they change what's in their hearts. So we have to change what's in our hearts, and God is telling us that this Quran softens our heart to the remembrance of God. It softens our heart to our brothers and sisters. It shows this empathy, because if you're not empathetic, something is wrong with you. It's not something that you're born with or not. It's something that is earned. It's you practicing empathy. Go ahead. Look outside your window if there's a window next to you. Think about an event that you just saw. You walk through that person's shoes. See the world from his view. See the world from his pressure. Don't try to solve his problems. See the world from his eyes so that you can experience the world from his eyes does not make it true. I can give you a very easy example. Put yourself in a Christian's shoe. I know some of you used to be ex-Christians. But right now, put yourself in a Christian's shoes. He actually believes in one God, that he's seeing it as three-person. And it's not possible for him to break that three-person because he truly sees it as one. Yes, it's a flayed perspective, but now you recognize that person still believes he's a monotheist. So trying to call him a pagan, it's the same thing that when you're going to a Sunni and say that you're committing shirk, to his mind is, I'm not saying there's multiple gods. So I'm not. So you see it from his perspective, and then you know how to attack his position where it's relatable. Oh, well, I'm not saying that you're a mushrik, but what I'm saying is that you're taking judgments outside from what God has said. Like, you see, Isn't that? And then you let him reach that conclusion. Oh, wait a minute. I'm associating, I'm idolizing the prophet. Or wait a minute. Well, yeah, why would God require us? Like, people were saved before Jesus. So you plant that seed of doubt because you recognize the person instead of attacking him from your perspective. And the only way that you could truly see this is God is giving you the perspective of others. God in the Quran is telling you the perspective of the hypocrite. Oh, and they get up lazy, right, to the prayer, right? You see them friends with everybody on both sides hate him, the hypocrite. So now you could put yourself in the hypocrite's shoe when you see him. It's like, why is he saying this to me? I'm sensing this hypocrisy from this individual. You're not empathetic to him, but you're capable of riding into his mind for a little bit for you to recognize who he is. This is what's beautiful about the Quran. It's telling you how these individuals are. And if you don't have this relationship, how are you going to learn? And with that said, I want to present the final verse and bring the sermon to an end. يا أهل الكتاب قد جاءكم رسولا يبين لكم كثيرا مما كنتم تخفون من الكتاب ويعفو عن كثير قد جاءكم من الله نورا وكتاب مبين. O people of the book, our messenger has come to you to clarify to you much of what you have concealed of the book. Notice, while overlooking much, pardoning much. There has come to you from God a light and a clear book. Now we're talking about not the book, a clear book, which would be this specific Quran. And this is what God says about this Quran. By which God guides, يهدي به الله من اتبع رضوانه سبل السلام ويخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور بإذنه ويهديهم إلى صراط مستقيم. By which God guides those who follow his approval to the ways of peace and brings them out of darkness into the light by his permission and guides them to the straight path. Now, the concept is right there in front of you. The approval of God is the way of peace. Me and atheist might not see eye to eye, but we can both agree that he wants to live in peace and I want to live in peace. And there is this the concept of us being cordial together because of this concept of peace. But that's external peace. That's not internal peace. I'm not responsible for his internal peace. He's not responsible for my internal peace. But the peace on the land, that we can establish that despite us being enemies in theology. On the day of judgment, he's not going to be anywhere near me as long as God brings us into his mercy. But God is here telling us about the internal and external peace. That's what the Quran is teaching you. For your mind to be happy, content. For you to deal with the disbelievers and the hypocrites and the sectarians and the mushriks and everybody else in the world in a place where when you hang up or the conversation is done, your mind goes to, wow, God, you're amazing. Such a beautiful world. Oh, God, thank you for helping me in that. And that's it. I don't need to sit and keep hurting the person or talking about the person or putting the person down, because that's what he's doing, by the way. That's what they do. That's what goes on with the man that is not healthy. When the conversation is done, they need to sit and dwell in it. They need to sit and carry on and thinking about it and looking at all the angles and making fun of you and repeating certain things and taking out of context. So any embarrassments that they had, they can just wash it away. But you as a believer, you don't do that. Why? Because you found the ways of peace. And God is taking you out of this darkness that is in your mind and brings you into the light. And he will fulfill that light on the day of judgment, knowing how you should be as a human being. We've talked about perspectives a lot, right? So I want to show you how the straight path is. And it's a very simple concept for you to remember as to the takeaway of this sermon. We talked about empathy a lot. We talked about seeing the world from different people, seeing the world from the perspective of the prophets, the messengers, the disbelievers, the Christians, the Sunnis, whoever you want. Now I want you to put a certain entity in mind and take their perspective for a moment. And it's the angels. The angels are so clear-minded and they're so pure in what they believe that there is no doubts. And they're sitting constantly thinking about their Lord, witnessing and giving everything back to God. As soon as a command comes to them, there's no doubt. They go fulfill the command. They do what they need to do. And then they go back to waiting for the next command. That's truly what I feel the angels do. There's nothing else, and the angels are extremely content. I believe if I was in that position, I would be looking forward for the next command. And I want to go and get it done as fast as possible in the most efficient way, in the most precise way, because that's my duty right now, a servant of God. So this is truly what we're being guided to, but we're better than angels. We're better than these angels. As God states that we're a level above them. In a degree, there's things obviously the angels are better than us to us, but that's what we should have, that angelic mindset where there is no second thinking. There isn't doubt. There's just God to command, God, do it. Not from God, ignore it. Don't need to sit and think, why am I getting this thought from the devil? And is the plan of the devil this and not? No, it's the demonic plan. That's it. I don't need to spend time in it. I need to go back to recalling my God, remembering my God, and being patient. And you'll notice, unfortunately, the rest of the world, the majority of the world, don't have this understanding. So you're just helping people with their problems. Yes, it is 516, sister. Exactly. Angels never experience brain fog. And that brain fog, it comes because of us, because of our own actions. And with that said, all praise to our Lord, the Lord of the worlds. Exalted is He above what people ascribe to Him. And we thank our Lord for this great Quran. And God, please accept from us the best that we do and forgive us our errors and mistakes. And praise to the Lord, Lord of the worlds. I'll be taking some questions. I hope you guys benefit from these sermons, because we spend too much time trying to show the other side the truth, but I feel like this is my way of contributing in regards to what we can do outside of those debates. So in the verse about 38, 31, I'm not sure why it was translated like that by Shuaiba. But for me, no, I believe it's like it's about horses and the way the horses that are standing. So God states that He beautified for us horses. I don't know why this keeps breaking up on me. All right, let's go with this one. Cool. All right. So God states here in the Quran, وَوَهَبْنَا لِدَاوُودَ سُلَيْمَانَ نِعْمَ الْعَبْدُ إِنَّهُ أَوَّابٌ. And we have granted Solomon to David, a wonderful servant. Indeed, he was repentant. إِذْ عُرِضَ عَلَيْهِ بِالْعَشِيِّ الصَّافِنَاتُ الْجِيَادُ. When he was examined the scrotums of the steeds in the evening. فقال إني أحببت حب الخير عن ذكر ربي حتى تورت بالحجاب. Then he said, I prefer the love of welfare to the remembrance of my Lord, until they were concealed by the partition. حتى تورت بالحجاب. Okay, so no, I don't agree with this. Al-Safinat, Safna, it comes from the concept where somebody is in amazement, where they like sit and admire for a bit. Safinat. Al-Jiyad, there's horses that are like steeds. And when you look, there's a certain way that steeds walk because they train them to look like these, like, stallions do this, Mustangs do this. Arabian horses is the way that they trot. And yes, people sit and watch. As God states that in the worldly life, there's things that people are pleased about, like, which is the women, the love of desires of women, children, and the very marked steed. حب الشهوات من النساء والبنين والقناطر المقنطرة والأنعام والحرث. Sorry, I'm going to show you the verse in chapter 3. I think it's easier. زين للناس حب الشهوات من النساء والبنين والقناطر المقنطرة من الذهب والفضة والخيل المسومة, and the marked خيل. So let me get the verse. زين للناس. So this is the verse in question. Adorned for mankind. I don't know. Adorned for mankind is the love of craving for women, children, quintal vaults of gold and silver, and branded horses. So here we see where Solomon has these really like marked and branded horses, where he himself is saying that it's like, I started to love this khayr, this worldly life, until I stopped remembering God, my Lord. Until now, like even like I moved away from the prayer. is what he was being partitioned from the prayer. Tawarat bil hijab, right? Hatta tawarat bil hijab. And so he was like, bring it back to me, right? The horses. And there's a few different ways that people are interpreting this, right? And then he came back to God. He repented back to God, and he started to establish the prayer. And he asked, like, God, give me this kingdom that nobody has after me. Which at this point, he dedicated everything that he has to God, and he wanted it more not for him to get the worldly life, but rather for him to serve God with everything that he had. So God bless. Thank you, Sophia. Hey, peace, brother. Yes. Peace. Would you like to come up, bro? Do you have time to come up? Walid. Haidar Adam. You gave me goosebumps, bro. MashaAllah. Exactly. And some people would sit and spend hours with their cars and they forget God. Exactly. Yes, sir. I can come in for a short bit. Okay. I'm going to post the link. I'm going to take Walid first. And then if more people want to come, we're going to make it open forum. Let me see. People, copy. My brother Walid, I'm going to send it to you on, actually, I think you need it on your, I've been doing good, Sergio. Peace. It needs to be slaughtered in a way that is permissible. So you have the Jewish kosher foods, and you have the Sunni halal and the Shia halal. These are permissible to you. There's some Christians, the Unitarians, even certain Amish, even I think some Mormons as well, where they do use the name of God. They do attach another name. That's where it can be a little bit bad. But God is saying the people of the book, their food is permissible. But for me, it's I try to stick to the Sunnis. Unless if I'm capable of slaughtering it myself, which is difficult nowadays. The thing is, it's you will find it. It's not that difficult. It is present in the world around us. Okay, guys, give me 1 second because I do have to, for some reason, this is not working. Oh, cool, that worked. Yeah. So, but no, like McDonald's or just the store cut stuff, I would avoid it, unless if you have no option. Walid, I'm gonna bring you up. Peace, Noah.
Hey, peace be upon you, brother. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Peace, man.
How have you been,
God
man?
bless you. I've been all
God,
right.
bl- God bless you too, man.
It's always a
Yeah,
pleasure
so
talking to you, man.
always, man. I know you're busy. I'm very busy. We can't talk as much as perhaps I would like, but God willing, I'm thinking of you, man. I'm praying for you, and I always want to do more work with you.
Inshallah, soon, brother.
God willing. But yeah, bro, I wanted to ask you something. And by the peace be upon all the audience members who are viewing this. It's just I've been reflecting and thinking a lot about life and society recently and where things are going. And you let me know your thoughts, brother. So, obviously, would you agree with me when I say that we are living not only in an age of delusion, but particularly pernicious and high levels of delusion and confusion?
No, we have engineered delusion now.
Right, but regardless of what's engineered, at least
Yes.
the effect of it in modern Western society is a lot of delusion, exemplary levels.
Right. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show this, guys. I'm gonna preface by this by saying that this is an opinion. Okay, this is an opinion. It's not an exegesis of the verses that I'm gonna show. Okay. So God states in this surah, which opened my eyes to a certain thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in Arabic, we have the word fil, okay, which is translated to elephant. And yeah, it's such a short surah, but
Yeah.
my conspiracy is kicking in, okay? So God
Okay.
states the following thing here in this verse. Have you not seen how your Lord dealt with the companions of the elephant? Fil, okay? So the word here is fil. Did he not, أَلَمْ يَجْعَلَ كَيْدَهُمْ فِي تَضْلِيلٍ? Did he not make their plans like he made their plans like into deception. See what I mean? Their plan became to delude. أَلَمْ يَجْعَلَ
Okay.
كَيْدَهُمْ فِي تَضْلِيلٍ. So it's like, did he not make their plans to cause delusions, is the way I can read this. And he sent to them a flock of birds. So remember, I
في
talked about
تضليل. Okay, yeah, in delusion, in error.
in delusion, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't say like he deluded their plans. He said that their plans, he made their plans to be deluders almost.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Their plan is to delude. And he sent to them a flock of birds, fleeing them with stones of shale. And he made them very, very like chaff, right? He flattened them with these stones. Okay. Now I want to show you something.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is just a simple Google search. Okay. Here you see where it says jumbo jet.
Yes.
Yeah, in 2021 or 2001, right? 2001, they were called jumbo jets. And if you look at the jumbo jet, one of its names is elephant. Feel. See what I mean?
Okay.
Okay, so it's the same name. And then God is telling you about smaller birds, little tiny birds, throwing rocks at them and flattening them. Okay? So we have a big bird, which is called the feel, and we have little birds throwing rocks and flattening them. 1, 2. We're talking about the elephant still, right?
Right.
So if we go to the GOP party and we look at the images of who they are, right? It's an elephant.
Mm.
The people of the elephant. They are the ones who are responsible for the majority of the negative influences from the American side on the world. September 11, Trump.
Okay, so we're getting into a little symbological, allegorical meaning.
Yes, but God is telling us he already knew them. And what I'm saying is that their biggest way of dealing with the world is what? Deluding the world.
Right.
Lying to the world, making up propaganda, making up lies. And God is telling us the end result for them, and someone's going to come and flatten them. So as I said, these are interpretations from what I've witnessed.
You know, that's a perfect way to segue into the main portion of what I was saying. So, today, at least what's been engineered is a time of great and exceeding delusion. And people are confused, even with the so-called Quran alone space. Somebody has their opinion, I have my opinion, you have your opinion. We disagree on minor things. Other people might disagree on major things. They don't even think there's miracles in the Quran. They think that Jesus was born of a husband with Mary. All this, like, just a wide level and spectrum of interpretation. And it goes into the time of delusion. And I personally think we've entered a point, and God knows best, that we've become so deluded, society, that there's no way that this level of lying can be cleared up unless somebody with the authority from God comes, a messenger or somebody who's directly revealed by God to clear up this mess. Because at the end of the day, brother, you have your interpretation, I have mine, and we can say God knows best, but at least as it stands now, neither you nor I nor all the metaphorists nor anyone has the authority to say, God has told me, all right, the believers are supposed to do this, at this time we're supposed to go here, this society is going to be destroyed. Like, what do you think about that, the idea of a messenger or somebody revealed with authority to clear up the mess?
Brother, so I've obviously you believe that I've already said to you in the podcast they made fun of us that there are messengers after Prophet Muhammad, but there's no more prophets. Prophets are sealed. But
that's what I'm going off of. There's no seal of messengers, seal of prophets.
No, exactly. Now, the thing that you need to realize is it's detrimental if somebody who is a messenger to come out and say, I am a messenger.
Of course, without the authority, then it's sacrilege.
Even if he has the authority, it's detrimental to go in the public and say, I am a messenger of God. You know why?
Okay.
Because then there is no buildup. So you need to have the buildup for you to show the bayinat, the proofs.
The clearness.
the clearances, and then the other individuals should recognize.
Okay.
The recognition is coming from the people. If you're gonna have to come and vocalize it, then you just caused a huge problem, and people are not gonna take you for it.
Okay, so like it's interesting because I kind of see a little in the Quran. The messengers, they would live amongst their people in their society for a while. They would gain notoriety and reputation as honest people of good character and good faith. People trusted them, and then later on, the messengership would become known.
It becomes known. In a case of a prophet, there's a difference. A prophet messenger who's receiving revelation, and the revelation is telling them to say it, then this is a challenge, where God is challenging the disbelievers, and he proves that messengers through that challenge. This is with Moses, this is with Muhammad, with Jesus, David to a certain degree. These are the big individuals where it's like they have to say it. But the like the lesser messengers, if for example, let's I don't know, let's take somebody as an example. You, Walid, let's assume that you had direct communication with God through a messenger or something that was clearly revealed to you that you're a messenger at this moment, right? If you go on your channel and you say, I'm a messenger of God, you've lost everybody very quickly.
You say that's an irresponsible handling of it, like this Mahdi and that guy, you know, that hooded druid-looking sage guy, whatever his name is.
Because God tells you, whenever he sends a messenger, he's ridiculed. Now, the case of a prophet is he has other abilities and attributes that a messenger does not have. So they come with a kitab.
They come with an actual kitab, the prophets.
So exactly. So the messenger, he has to only react to what's happening. A prophet is told to do or say something. That's the difference. A messenger, he has to witness and then react. See the signs and tell you what the signs are.
A messenger would be amazing. You know, I pray for a day that a messenger is raised amongst us. But even like, I'll give you the example of the companions of the cave in the Quran. I don't think any of them were overtly called messenger, but they still were revealed something. So, is there a verse? Maybe I'm mistaken.
They weren't. They were not called messengers.
Yeah, they were not. Okay. But it said God revealed to them, take shelter in the cave. So they had a direct command pertaining to that specific time of what to do with the body of believers.
Walid, every single Quran alone believer is getting revelation from God directly. But only when God states to you directly through his messengers, through wahi. He's not going to talk to you directly. I don't think that's only to the prophets. God knows. He said that is a way he communicates with messengers. But with his servants, he can inspire you. You get an inspiration to do something, and it is God communicating with you, ordering you something. But when you're getting communication where it's saying that you are a messenger, that's when you now have that authority. But if you don't get that, then you don't go around running, well, God communicated with me. I read a verse and it seemed like the verse was talking to me, or I got this feeling in my chest, or I got the dream, or I got something. God is
God guided me to such and such.
Yes, but God can guide you directly. Like, for example, I have my good sister Yera and Ilyana as well, where they'll tell me their dream, and then their dream comes reality. It's a forewarning to something that they're either going through or someone else is going through, and it becomes reality. So God has helped them; they guided them, but it doesn't mean they're messengers. See what I mean?
But that's not exactly a public mission. That's not a public mission like messenger. Messenger is obviously a higher office than that.
So the children of the children of the cave, or the people of the cave, that's what they endured. It's obviously a little bit higher. Everything's in levels. But yes, the messengers are coming. But you cannot destroy a superpower without a messenger, and it's going to be very
right. God does not destroy a people until he first sends a messenger who is endowed with that authority to give them the bayinat, and then they reject, and then the word becomes binding upon them.
So historically, it's been proven that during the times of Pharaoh was overspending on war against all these other nations. So he was waging war where he could no longer afford it. The rich in the lands of the Pharaoh were getting a lot richer, and the poor are getting a lot poorer. The blessings started to dwindle, where people are not able to afford anything, and their currency and the way that they used to do their trade, it started to fall apart. And then they became extremely oppressive, and they cut their people up and started to even kill their own people.
Well, this is a common story amongst many empires throughout history.
Exact same story. And they got Moses. Pharaoh was like the highest example of this. Everyone else is gonna, so they don't meet, like America's not gonna get a Moses. America could get just some guy coming telling them, like, here's what the Quran states, or this is what God's ordering you to do. They say, no, we're going to kill you, get out of our country, or you become like us, and then they're done.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Quickly, I want to say, I know there's a motif in the Quran of God sometimes lets certain civilizations and eras go a long period of time without a messenger until they experience this kind of amnesia. They start to forget the ancient messages of the past and what God has said.
Yep.
And then God will send a messenger to kind of revitalize that. And this is their final warning. And if they reject, it's destroyed. And that's where I think we're at today, brother. Like, I'll tell you one thing. So when I read the Quran, it assumes a very religious framework. So it assumes people, they understand these concepts of worship and divinity and holy places and rituals. It's just they have a wrong understanding of it. So they're making shirk, they're making idolatry. But people who have a worshipful spirit, but it's misled. But the people we're dealing with in the West nowadays, they don't even have that. They're so secularized and atheistic. They don't even understand concepts of worship and divinity and holy places and destiny. It's so much error is my point. And I really think we need somebody to help us out, like somebody directly appointed by God to really solve the geopolitical issues.
Waleed, I think God has already answered, and there's also a verse in the Quran I want to show you in regards to this. So, you know, I keep telling people, because we're not going to. You can be a disciple of the messenger. You know what that means?
That means to be one who follows him.
A disciple of him. There's a follower, and then there's a disciple. There's Ansar, right? Ansar,
Yeah.
and then there's the Mu'minun. And God's saying, the Prophet told his people, Kunu Ansar lillah, give support to God. The way you do that
Use
is
my
through
supporters for Allah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you yourself put yourself in the shoes of the Prophet when you're walking. And the only thing that you would have is that role of like copying what the messenger said. You don't become a messenger, you're just regurgitating it. But you start to see the
Right.
verses support you. They get applied on you. Because God will protect the Quran. And if you're the one who's saying the Quran, you're getting protected with it.
Yeah.
I've witnessed that with my own
Here's the
eyes.
thing. It's like, and by the way, when I say this, just for the sake of the audience, I'm not giving a hopeless message. Like, oh, you know, we should just go into this messianic cult and just wait. No, no, no. I have hope. I live every day with joy and grace and God. But just regarding the temporal geopolitical issues, I've come to that conclusion. As in the Quran, you need a messenger to come before you see the toppling of civilizations, which is what we need to see today.
Yes. So 1 minute. My brother Shirluni came. I missed the sermon, but not for reasons like Sulaiman. A heavy weakness descended upon me, and I fell asleep for an hour or so. Anyways, daughter made me a coffee. May God bless her. But you shouldn't be drinking coffee, bro. Here's something for you, and also check Telegram DM. I saw your message. I was just a little shy to answer, but I'm going to respond in something that you would understand. But here, I'll give you a clue, bro. Brother, there's a verse right here where I put on the screen.
Yes.
ولقد آتينا موسى الكتاب فاختلف فيه ولولا كلمة سبقت من ربك لقضي بينهم وإنهم لفي شك منه مريب. And we have certainly gave Moses the book, but they differed. Like they differed in it. And if it was not for a word that was preceded from your Lord, he would have judged between them. And indeed they are in doubt, therefore being suspicious of their book. So God knows that there's going to be this. People are saying, like, for example, as you started with, Jesus was born with a father. But there's a word that God has already preceded in the Quran that dispels that. When someone goes, being rainbow colors is okay. There's a verse in the Quran that dispels that. But the people that don't want to
Oh,
follow
oh,
what
the
the
people
God
of
is.
Lut, the people of Lut, they were punished not because of their rainbow colors, but it's because they were inhospitable to the guests and all this nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. So people come up with their theories, but the Quran dispels them. And God states
Yeah,
that this is why there's people now that are having doubts in the book. Oh, well, because there's all this ikhtilaf. The ikhtilaf has already been settled. Now it's a matter of faith. And
yeah.
yes, we are seeing a transition. And Waleed, if I'm gonna be honest, and this is in public, I don't like it. I
Let me hear it.
believe with the way that you approach matters, and you're open-hearted and your honesty, and you're still at a young age, but I believe you personally is being set up for something that would be presented to your Lord on the day of judgment, as God willing, as a hopefully, but I can't. I'm not the one who judges, but as a forerunner. So what you're
Brother, that
seeing,
would be my greatest honor. It means a lot that you say that. I would live and die for that. I would give my left arm right now for that honor and grace to be bestowed upon me.
I
I
know,
can only
brother.
pray.
We
As
ate
you would,
together,
as
we
you
prayed
would.
together, and we know this. And I think you have your eyes open enough for you to, whether a messenger shows himself or not, that you would understand what it means to be a disciple of a messenger, and make a big difference in the world. And obviously I invite everybody else here I invite everybody else to do what they can. So
I pray, brother, I pray this every night before I go to bed now. I've been praying to my Lord and saying, my Lord and my God, in this time of great confusion and, dalal and mubin, a clear error, I ask you that you raise up one who has the direct authority appointed by you. And my Lord, I promise you, I will be loyal and faithful to that man. And I will do the best to, follow things he says to serve you, God Almighty, and not make it about myself or my ego. I just want to see this error be destroyed and cleared up by somebody who's been appointed that authority. I'm praying every day. I would, it inspires me when I see that verse about Jesus where, who are my helpers for the sake of Allah? And they say, we're the helpers. I love that, man.
here, brother.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess God willing, we'll see. We'll see what our Lord has in store for us in this life and the hereafter. But I appreciate the thoughts. So, it seems like the perfectly ripe time too. God knows best, but it seems like it. I mean, we have like a world language, almost like a world civilization. And if there was a messenger to be raised up, and I think he would speak the English language, not Swahili or anything like that. He'd probably speak English. He'd be able to get to a lot of people with his word.
Waleed, keep your eyes shut.
God willing, keep your eyes wide open, right?
That's it.
That's it. All right, brother. Well, I appreciate the words, and God willing, we'll stay in contact on the back end. Peace be upon you,
Of
and
course.
may the Lord
God
bless you
bless you,
richly.
bro.
I'll go see you,
God
man.
bless you. Hey, before you go, he did go. We still have a conversation with you, me, and Kevin. And we should set that up. Okay. Brother Sohail, may God bless Waleed.
Salam.
How's it going?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had a handful of questions. I was on the last sermon. I just went under a different alias.
Okay.
Regarding the 4 sacred months, is there like I'm struggling with attaining clarity on what those months are.
Ramadan forward.
So from Ramadan on, like 4
so
months
here.
after that?
So month in Hijri. Calendar. Images. So I just want them in English though. Is this it? No, this is not all of it. Man, how is this so difficult? There it is. Okay. So let's open. It's loading. Open image in new tab. There it is. So let's share the screen. Give me 1 second, please. StreamYard is messing up. Okay. So we have number 1. Haram, right?
Yeah.
Which was changed to match the event that's talked in chapter 9. That it is forbidden for them to come into the to be at the sacred house after the end of their year. or at the end of the year. Okay, so the end of the year ended, and then the first of the month it became forbidden for polytheists to be in Mecca. That's why it became Muharram.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
now that's the first one. Now notice in chapter 9, God states to let them do whatever they want during the sacred, or do not fight them for 4 months. Okay, that's what God says. Do not fight them for 4 months. And when the sacred months are gone, then fight them. Okay.
I'm following. Yeah.
And then God states that at the end of this year, they're no longer allowed in Mecca. Therefore, you're fighting them. So we have the last 4 months is right here. And we know for a fact that Ramadan, you see how it starts with Ramadan. Ramadan, Shawwal, Zul Qa'dah, and Zul Hijjah. We know for a fact number 9 is the holy month. Is a holy month. That's the holy night where the Quran came into. So the night, the month, the day, everything of that is extremely blessed.
I see.
Okay? And you'll see it now. God states 4 months, which is in a row. Ramadan, Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah. Sunnis have these three.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they just took one randomly outside for absolutely no idea where. But notice how it's still the same three.
Yeah. I see that.
But we say that Ramadan, because of the Quran, is the holy month. They go sit with a different one. I'm trying to remember. Is it Rajab? Which is the 4 holy months for them? It's not Rajab. It is Rajab. It is Rajab. So they say that 7 is the holy one, and then they go with the other 3, which at chapter 9 you're done then.
Okay.
Chapter
So
9 would not make sense anymore at that point.
from my understanding, have patience with me if I'm wrong, but so these so Ramadan is included in the sacred months.
Yes.
Okay.
But if you want to go fast and do your Hajj during that month, more power to you, brother.
Okay, too. I see. And so those 12 Islamic months as well, um that wouldn't, I know this might be a really dumb question, but that wouldn't mean that Ramadan is happening right now, is it?
No.
No. Okay. So it's just from Ramadan onwards the next 3 months. Like,
Yeah,
or like,
Ramadan, Shawwal, Zulqa'dah, and Zulhijjah. All those are the 4 months that are sacred, which you should not oppress yourself in. You should not like when you break rules in those months, it hurts you more than outside of the month. In those 4 months, you shouldn't be fighting either. Okay?
I understand.
And in those 4 months as well is the time that you do pilgrimage. We like Ramadan, the other rules are always present. Well, you shouldn't be fighting when you're fasting. You should be remembering your God often. It's a very blessed month. You can't tell me that this is not a sacred month.
Oh yeah, of course. No.
Okay.
Also, regarding, I'm my problem is I'm always like harboring doubts, astaghfirullah, God forgive me, but it's always over small little things, I don't know, it might be like induced from like growing up with all these hadith at a young age, so
Okay.
I'm trying to unlearn that right now. Regarding the last 2 verses in Surah Tawbah, I remember reading a verse yesterday that the Quran's message is preserved. God preserved the book, and that nothing can be added or changed. But
Right.
there's,
A group
I
of people
remember,
that say the last 2 verses are taken out.
yeah, is that,
That's nonsense.
oh, so it's not injected.
No, these are verses from the Quran.
Okay,
It's
all right,
nonsense.
I understand. Yeah, because you fall. I really did fall into like that code 19,
Yeah.
and
Here. So I'll show you why it's nonsense. Okay.
yeah.
So when I come here and I go to the last verse, 2 verses of chapter 9, their contention is what the prophet, what God said about the prophet here, right? They're saying, oh, it doesn't, this is only for God, it's only for God. Okay?
Yes.
So here they're saying that the word Rahim is a problem. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so the word Rahim is a problem, that this is only for God,
Right.
technically,
Yeah,
right?
I remember that argument. Yeah.
Yeah, but God says, Huwa arhamur rahimin. God is the most merciful of those that give mercy. And if God is saying that He is the most merciful of those that give mercy, therefore there's other people that give mercy.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, that's one. Bil mu'minina ra'ufun rahim. So the prophet foregoes and tolerates, and he's kind and compassionate to the believers. This is something that you have to do, by the way. When somebody comes to me with their own interpretation, just because he says he believes in the Quran, I don't try to grill him. I don't try to like push him away from the religion. I'm not going to chase away
Right.
believers. Whatever interpretations they have, that's for them. That's how they see it. I'm going to tell him my understanding. If he accepts it, good. If he doesn't, then whatever we're putting in the pot, we're going to eat. See what I mean? So
Mhm.
that's the Ra'ufun Rahim portion, right? And then they're saying that this is a cookie cutter verse. فإن تول فقل حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. Show me in the Quran where it's saying it like in this حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو. This is something that I completely repeat. حسبي الله, right? حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت. So this is me now saying that I am relying on my Lord. How is this a cookie cutter verse? But here's the problem with Dr. Rashad, that he experienced. He makes a claim that in 1970s that God has inspired the computer, that even when he made an error, the count came out correctly. And this was a miracle from God, where God has taken over this computer. But in that original count, where God was directly involved, as per Rashad Khalifa, God counted those two verses. Those were within the count. So originally, the computer was counting it, and that's when he got his miraculous count. And then he had a problem with the name God, that he had to be divisible by 19. And he had an extra one or an extra two. And because of what he read in hadith books, right?
Yeah.
That he said, yeah, so these two are not there. And that's why there's no basmala at the beginning. So he made this whole thing from the mutashabih of the basmala to say that this is why it is. It makes absolutely no sense, because he just broke a verse that there's no falsehood that comes between its hands. Oh, no, it's attached. Yeah, that's coming in between its hands. It's not coming from before it. It's coming in between its hands. Someone added to it.
I do remember that. Yeah, when he mentioned hadith and how they were Meccan verses in a Medinan surah, but
But then he completely failed. The
Yeah.
reason why he failed is that he assumed that the Quran was not compiled up until after the passing of the Prophet. And that story has already been negated, where they had to run around and find all the verses of the Quran and put them together to make them a book. There was already a book being read and written when the Prophet was alive. It was compiled differently because they've already had 4 copies of it when the Prophet passed away, according to their own hadith books. And in all 4 copies, nobody had a contention on the last 2 verses of chapter 9.
I understand.
And when you come to code 19, by the way, why is Hafs the one that's accurate? Why can't it be Shu'bah? Well, why can't it be Shu'bah? Why can't it be the Shu'bah reading? Because whatever problems they find with the code 19 fixes, it fixes it for Shu'bah. Because the difference between Shu'bah and Hafs is only diacritical. And code 19 does not address the diacritics. And there's some places where Shu'bah is right and Hafs is wrong. So then what?
I see. That does clear it up. I mean, I already had my mind made up. Like, I knew those weren't injected verses. It's just it's always nice to get that clarity from someone who's actually studied these matters. And
Now, you see that the thing is, there is truth to code 19. Yes, there is a mathematical miracle in the Quran itself. But I attribute that to Prophet Muhammad. Just because somebody discovered it along the line, the book that Prophet Muhammad brought had this mathematical equation. The discovery does not make you a messenger. And the other thing is, it does not give you right and authority over the book. I don't have a problem with code 19 per se, except a few times when he's trying to twist his name into it. What I have a problem with is his exegesis and him trying to force this narrative that where he started to prophesize. A messenger is not going to sit and prophesize, oh, these people are going to get destroyed in this manner, and this is what's going to happen in a few years. This is not for you. You're not a prophet. You're a messenger. But he started to act like a prophet, and he got removed very quickly.
100% agree. I had another question. I always have so many questions to ask. I never write them down.
But brother, keep in mind, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in line.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I wouldn't want to take up too much of time. I think I'll just leave it at that then. I'll give space
God bless you, bro.
to other believers. So
thank you. God bless you.
My questions. Salam. Peace.
Peace. Doctor, peace.
Oh, salam alaikum. Can you hear me, brother?
I can hear you. Wa alaikum salam.
I do apologize to yourself and the rest of the stream just to take a few moments. This is going to sound like I'm fanboying, but alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to speak to you live and direct. I've been following your work for some time, and mashallah, what can I say? May Allah protect you, maintain you, elevate you in all the work that you're doing as you continue exposing souls to the truth that Allah has sent for us. And may Allah then use that as a means to uncover the hearts of people and remove their deafness and their blindness, and that you reap the rewards for freeing the necks of slaves. Ya Rab.
God bless you, bro. May God accept from you in the world and the hereafter, and forgive you and your parents and your kids from any sin.
Ameen. Secondly, I just wanted to say, the sermon today really hit deep. The concept of mindset that you're kind of exploring. As a clinician myself, I deal with people that are coming and presenting with depression on a regular basis, and it's so true. This is all a mind game. The kind of parallel you drew here about the mind infested with shaitan and the kind of stressed thoughts versus the angelic mind, that's something that I'm really going to savor and reflect on for the coming days. That's really definitely gave me goosebumps, I would say.
Doctor, I have a theory, and you're a person of the in the sciences, so there's some people that are born with genetic diseases that give them a chemical imbalance, but I also believe that individuals that are habitually negative thinkers and have habitually dwell on lies or negative side of their life, I think their body reacts in a way that it produces these chemical imbalances where they find themselves either becoming bipolar or becoming ADHD, or even to as far as being schizophrenic when they start to really dwell in these ideas. And if they can habitually fix these thoughts or remove these habitual negative thoughts, I think it's actually clears these chemical imbalances. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That is,
I think the chemical imbalance is actually a reflection of their thoughts rather than the other way around.
That is absolutely what it is. When patients are coming in and they're expecting medications and antidepressants, and pharmacy or pharmaceutical companies are pressing this stuff, that is essentially just transforming self-improvement into a pill. The actual treatment for depression, even if you look for any first-line guidance from any of the major kind of schools of thoughts, it's usually therapy, psychotherapy, so counseling, cognitive behavioral therapy, and all that is talking. Yeah, exactly. So you're speaking to a professional, they're reflecting, you had this bad thought, you allowed this bad thought to ruin your whole morning. Why did you then go down this dark slope? What could you do in future, when this bad thought enters your mind? So they are trying to, use the mind as a battleground. And obviously they're using it with a syllabus that is void of any Rabb or God, right? But when you read the Quran, that is the ultimate psychotherapy. That is, it reminds me of the verse, I've forgotten the Arabic, but Allah is saying, be grateful and do not be ungrateful. And that is an equation, essentially. Allah is saying, if you are not being grateful, that is not enough. You need to be actively grateful to keep that balance in the positive, right? Because like you said, we are just naturally inclined. Shaitan is always doing the waswasa, trying to drag us into that negative space. So Allah tells us, he says, be grateful and do not be ungrateful. So there's two separate actions. Not only do we need to sit and reflect and say, thank you for X, Y, and Z, but also when the bad things happen, like you said, that angelic mindset, be the tiger. Don't allow these small things to kind of pull us into, oh, he said this, she said that.
100%.
Yeah. So what you said really kind of struck a chord. So I'll definitely be be reflecting on that. And lastly, I just wanted to mention, you touched on the story of Suleiman with the horses. There's that verse where he says, you know, he's wiping down the horses, and that word is the one that is used when Allah is teaching us how to make wudu, right? So when the Sunnis, and I was watching one of your videos, you know, the Debate Me streams, and some guy was really trying to press you on this concept of wudu, and I just realized, like, why do they, you know, in their translations, they have this narrative that, oh, Sulaiman alayhi salam was so upset that he missed his maghrib that he chopped the horses, you know, he killed them to remove the temptation. I mean, poor horses, man, like they had no
Doesn't make
role in
sense.
this, you know. So what would make more sense is you've got this reflective, deep, intelligent, mature man who's reflecting on the provisions that Allah has given him whilst maintaining them, you know, and he wiped them down, which is what Allah has said also in that verse about ablution, wipe your heads. So either you've got a barbaric prophet who chops horses, in which case you must chop your heads every time you make wudu, or
But he won't step on an ant, though.
Oh, there we go. So there's a little bit of inconsistency, I guess, in his love for nature. But yeah, it's an interesting point, because I have raised that a couple of times, and you get that typical kind of, however, how do you do this, brother? You know, there's no actual response. It just jumps to the next escape route. But anyway,
I wanted to respond to 2 points real quick. I apologize.
Please.
So you said something that's extremely important: the concept of gratefulness and being ungrateful. Being grateful it's a feeling. It's not just saying thank you. Thank you is something that's important, but it's something like, you know, when you taste the food and when you're like, this food is so amazing. You know, you walk in your house and you're truly in your heart, you're like so content that you have this house. When you see your child, or you see your wife, or you see somebody you love, that contentment feeling, gratitude is a feeling. And if you truly understand this feeling, this is where God states, I will increase. Saying thank you is lip service, but being grateful is an actual emotion. It's a feeling and an emotion. And then the other thing is, so God states that whatever good is from God, and whatever bad is from yourselves, and everything's from God. So even in the negativity that people want to sit and dwell in, you have to put God in the equation for it to become positive.
100%.
I lost my mother at a young age. Well, you know, now I'm a stronger man. I'm giving example. This is not the case for me. I crashed my car. God can give me a better car. I'm okay. I can at least I'm fine, right? So the only way that you could truly become completely positive is always incorporating God, and then it becomes good, right? And if it's bad, it's from myself. So it's from my own thoughts that is making it something that is bad. Or somebody's stabbing me and oppressing me. God wants to use me so that this man has no grounds to stand on a day of judgment. I'm going to have a better day of judgment just because this guy is abusing me.
100%, and I appreciate the reinforcement of that message. I think that's really like black belt Quranist, right? Like, or black belt Quran practice, where you're able to go through life, through dunya, with its ups and downs, with its peace and unpeace, and navigate in that Zen mode. You know, everything that comes is from Allah. Everything that happens, there's good in it, and I'm just gonna filter and process until I'm at those gates. Ultimately, that's the objective, right? But anyway, my absolute pleasure to speak with you today, and like I said, you in my du'as. My pleasure.
God bless
Speak to you soon, inshallah.
May God bless you in the world and the hereafter. And thank you for coming up, man.
Thank you so much.
Peace. Salam. MashaAllah. Michael, you are very popular. Michael, I see him in many he's the atheist that is in most of the he's an atheist in most of the Islamic dawah channels. So thank you, brother, for coming up. Isa.
Peace, brother.
Peace, bro.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. What's going on?
What was I gonna ask you? Sorry. I had a question for you a couple weeks back, but you weren't doing an open forum. Now I'm trying to remember it. Oh, okay. So I think the day you were the sermon you were doing was about association, right? Shirk.
Okay.
And I've personally come to an understanding that essentially any form of, I guess you could say, taqlid, right? Emulation, just taking someone else's understanding is itself like a form of association. And when I say this, I mean, like, let's say
I know what you mean.
me and you disagree on something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you present your evidence and I don't find it compelling for whatever reason, right? I'm of a different understanding of whatever the verses mean or whatever implications they are, right? And I don't find your argument compelling, whatever evidence you produce. If I were to then just take your understanding just because it's your understanding, right? And you have some a higher standing in the community, you're a little more well read of the verses, right? This would in itself almost be association, because I'm abandoning the understanding that I have gained following what God is showing me, right? And if I come to a conviction about something and your understanding is in conflict with it, if I just abandon the conviction I had for the simple fact that you disagree, right? If I don't find your arguments compelling, I was wondering how you felt.
It depends on how you got your conviction. So if it's just from your own understanding, then this is not shirk. If it's from something where it's been solidified with a sign from God, then yeah, because you could be on a path that's different than the man in front of you. If the man that was walking next to Moses took Moses' interpretation of what was going on, killing the young boy, breaking the ship, working for free for disbelievers, the man would have committed shirk, because the man clearly got instructions from God, and then he went and did something by an order from someone else because the man said that it's religiously, that's how it needs to be done. So that's an individual that has been inspired and given direct evidence from God that he needs to take this path. When it comes down to the concepts of understanding, the person can have an interpretation, and it's his first month of reading the Quran. And then he asks somebody who's been reading the Quran for 15 years, and the person shows him how he's wrong. He might have not wrapped his head around it yet, but he's going to start to maybe accept a view without understanding it. That's not shirk. See what I mean? The shirk comes where you have direct access to that God has put you on this path. But you're right. If I have clear evidence that the individual in front of me is not saying something that is jiving with what God has shown me, and I accept it, then I'm accepting a lie, which can be understood as a form of shirk if it comes down to certain topics. So if someone says that the day of judgment is not coming, that's actually shirk.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes, having the wrong interpretation and attaching it as guidance from God is shirk.
All right. I feel like I have another question for you that I keep missing the opportunity to ask you. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff that I want to talk to you about, but a lot of it's like more technical stuff that I don't know if anybody even really wants to hear. But
Isa, me and you are in the same time zone now, eh? I think we're close enough.
pretty sure are you in the Great White North currently?
Yeah, I'm New York time zone.
Okay. Yeah, I'm West Coast time zone.
Okay, so 3 hours. Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, we can have a private call. I'm going to make sure to it.
Okay, for sure. I'm down.
It's not a 7-hour, 10-hour difference anymore.
Yeah, because I mean, there's even because there's certain things that I do disagree with you on, and obviously, I think most of those conversations are probably better for private. You know what I mean? Just because ultimately
I understood that.
this is your platform for one, you know what I mean? And I'm also
Learning.
like me personally, I'm very, how do I put this? I always want to put like a theological spin on it. From a epistemological point of view, right? My position is that no one knows but the knower, right? So I take a very humble position on essentially everything. There are very few things that I am like extremely convicted of that I'm gonna be like, no, you're wrong, right? Most of my positions I'm holding provisionally until I'm given evidence that sways me one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? And
Musa, I'm sorry, but the world is not flat.
That's one thing. I mean, I'm not personally.
Did I get it?
No, I'm personally not of the understanding that the world is flat. I think it is a sphere, but this is a good example of something that I don't really hold any conviction on this because I haven't been in space. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm coming from a very limited data set when it comes to this particular question, and I also don't think it's really relevant. Right? It's not one of these things that I'm thinking of.
It's not for salvation.
Yeah, exactly. And even the things that I think we disagree on, I don't think. Sorry, my son is. Hello, boy.
It's okay.
You know, I don't particularly think any of the disagreements we have are matters of salvation either, right? They're matters that I think we both could make an argument for, and they shouldn't even come in between us working together to try and.
It's a matter of application. Well, our contentions are the majority of the Quran alone community. When there's contentions, the majority of it is application. There is people where it comes down to interpretation. So there's exegesis, which is explanation, and interpretation is trying to say why the verse is saying what it's saying. Okay. So for example, we have people, as someone said, like, homosexuality is technically okay. That's an interpretation. It's not an exegesis. Okay. That is, again, application. But then someone's going to say that, oh, Jesus has a father. That is an interpretation that has no application. So what I'm trying to express is that the majority of the people that argue is how do you pray? What is salah? What is zakat? These things is just applications. So however you're going to apply it, you're going to get the seeds of what you apply. But you have to see what the other side is saying too. Better for your life.
Of course. Well, I'm sure you got a bunch of people in line. I'm not.
Oh yeah. I've got, yes, she was almost full, I believe.
Yeah.
But Tuesday, brother. Tuesday, I'm gonna text you in the morning. So I'll be up before you, and we'll hash some stuff out.
All right. Yes, sir. Sounds good. I'll be in the chat arguing with Brother Michael here. Peace, brother. I appreciate you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. God bless you. Peace, Isa. Oh, sorry, Ken. You're next, but I just want one more. My brother Shuraluni.
Yes. As I said, 5 seconds. Did you manage? No, did you manage to source a plant? And if no, please send me your address on Telegram.
Brother, doesn't it look nice?
It looks real.
It's not.
Stop eating plastic, man.
Not. I didn't even know it has its tag on it. But no, I'm gonna buy a bunch of plants. I'm gonna buy a big plant, put it right there. I'm fixing up my studio, so it's like a little bit bland right now. But I'm planning to liven it up a little bit. But I like my plant, man.
Yeah, so yeah, that's it. Just go on with the queue, as I said.
I'll give you my address if you want to come over.
Yeah, well, it's above that one country where I swore I will never go, so maybe.
You'll never come to Canada?
No, above that one country. It's on top of it.
I won't take you to the States.
Yeah. So I even have family in the States, but I once swore my feet will never touch that ground there. And
closer to Canada, bro.
But yeah, I don't know about Canada. I mean,
I'll meet you in the middle.
Never thought of that actually, even visiting Canada or something. But
I'll meet you in the middle.
What do you mean? In the ocean?
We'll just walk in a straight line to each other.
Yes,
on
exactly.
The flat Earth. Well, speaking about flat Earth, I saw a guy making an experiment where he put he had two walls, and he put like a hole in between them. So two walls. He put a wall, and then he put a camera on one side. And this is in the darkness of the night. And then he made his friend drive to a certain distance in between these two walls. And he said, and he wanted the camera was at 17 feet. And he said to shine the light at 17 feet. And because the world is flat, that the camera will pick up the light between the two holes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a laser experiment. It's known. Yeah.
But then he couldn't see the light. So he asked his friend on the radio, he was like, can you raise it to 23 feet over your head? So the guy raises it to over his head, and guess what?
And then he saw it.
And he's looking at the camera and he goes, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why that's happening. What do you think, bro?
Yes. Yeah. I know. I've seen that. I mean, I don't want to start that topic or whatever. No. And you have what, 7 people?
Yeah, now I have some people dropped. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people.
Okay.
But I love you, bro. And I love you, flat earthers.
Yeah, exactly. Keep going.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
I'll let myself out. So
God bless you.
Peace.
Peace. Sorry about that, Khan.
Salam, brother.
Salam.
Salam. I would like to point on what the brother Walid said about a messenger.
Mm-hmm.
Like I understood, he was saying that he would like to have a messenger to come to clarify all the chaos. And as I understood, you said that there can be a messenger. I believe that too. Yeah, I believe too there can be more messengers. So I would like to take the point and say you said the messenger cannot say that he is the messenger. So
it's detrimental. So to go out in public and to say that I'm a messenger of God is not going to work for his mission. But people can come to him, and then he can say whatever he wants to say. That's how I understand it. I'm not saying anything.
Okay, so when let's say I know someone and I think he's a messenger because of what he says, whatever, yeah. And when I come to him and ask him, "Are you a messenger of God?" and if he says yes, can he be a messenger then, or depending on, of course, what he says?
There could be a chance, yes.
Okay. So if I ask him, "Are you a messenger?" and then he says, "Yes, I am," is this still okay?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay. Okay, I understand. Okay. So let's assume that Rashid Khalifa didn't claim to be a messenger and he didn't say such things like which are not confirmed the Quran. And people would go to him and say, okay, you made Bayna, the code 19. It's not from you. You just saw it and you explained it. And then tell him, okay, you are a messenger. Would he then be a messenger?
No, the thing is, I'm telling, the messenger cannot make it about him. If a messenger is making it about him, then he's failing. Like, if somebody's coming to somebody and asking him if he's a messenger, it depends. If it's like good for his guidance, he would reveal what he wants to reveal. But in the case of Rashad Khalid, if I go to, for example, let's say Shirluni, my brother, and I go to him, hey, I think you're a messenger. It does not make him a messenger. It does not make it based on reality. See what I mean? There has to still be communication with that individual and God, not through the Quran. Like when I say direct, there could be many means. So either inspiration from God, either a spirit or an angel coming talking to him saying that, hey, you need to say these things, or God talking to him directly. That's what qualifies you as a messenger, where God is telling you. So for example, you go submit to God. God makes you into a doctor. You're a doctor that's working for God. You submit to God. God makes you into a mother. You're a mother that's raising kids in the name of God. Okay? And then you submit to God and God says, your job is to say these words to these people. That's a messenger. But he cannot make it about himself. Many people, when they come and start to call themselves messengers, or they start being called messengers, they make it about them. And that's one thing that a messenger will not do.
So we could never know
It's not for
who
you
is
to
a
know, bro.
messenger.
I'm telling you, it's
Okay.
something where he will gain his notoriety, he will gain his popularity, he will get his leadership by natural default ways. It's not people will be compelled to help that individual because of the truth that he's speaking. It's not because he said that he's a messenger. It's because of the truth that he's expressing. It compels people to support him. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
I have my idea of a messenger where God states for every community there's a guide. Okay. And this is for both jinn and humans. So in every domain that we have in human endeavors, there's an individual that is always excelling above everybody else, where he makes it about God. And because he made it about God, he's better than everyone else. And that to me is a person that is working as in a role of a messenger. Because if you talk to them, they'll always tell you, oh, God helped me with this, and God like kind of showed me this, and God, like one example that I always go to is one of the most famous singers in our current time, Michael Jackson. If you ask Michael Jackson, how do you make music? He goes, oh, well, if I sit here and I try to write the best song I can't just sit here and write a song. And then guy asks him, where does it come from? He goes, it comes from above. So he himself always talked about God. He excelled above everybody else. His lyrics are always mentioning God, and he made such a big impact in the world. And one of his most famous songs is Thriller, talking about the day of judgment. So in a very convoluted and in a very subliminal way, he said the message that is very similar to the Quran. Do I now need to focus on him as an individual? No, it's got nothing to do with him. Whatever he does is crimes, whatever he did is sins, that's him that he's going to face on the day of judgment. But he did also help a lot of individuals understand that God exists and it's about love. So he's fulfilling certain things, but am I going to sit there and be like, oh, he's a messenger of God and we need to obey him? No. See what I mean? Now, in this day and age, I believe Habib is also fulfilling the same thing, where he came, dominated a sport, which is an endeavor of human things. He's already being talked about a lot, and he's always mentioning God. And he's showing you the morals and the disciplines that come with believing in God, and he's excelling. So yes, and he is being inspired with God in certain things to do and not to do. See what I mean? But if someone's going to sit there and say, oh, I'm a messenger, and I went through this, and I think like this, and you guys need to obey me, this guy is gone at this point. And that's what Rashad did.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody could be a messenger, and you don't know.
Anyone can be a messenger where
you go on the street,
know.
you see a guy, and he says, I don't know.
Are you searching for a messenger, or are you searching for the message, brother? It's very simple. Are you searching for the messenger, or are you searching for the message? If you're searching for a messenger, then yeah, you have to start to have trust with what the individual is saying. If you're searching for the message, you got the message. There's individuals that didn't have the message, and they can have a messenger sent to them. God states that he takes messengers from angels and humans, but messenger is I am delivering a message. A messenger can be short-lived, and a messenger can be there for a long time. And there's individuals where they will tell you, I'm a messenger of God. And based on how they act and how they do, then it's up to you to decide. Just like how you said that somebody, I believe I know of a messenger as well. but it's not for me to sit here and to start to publicize it about people.
Okay. So I'm okay. I'm not. I don't want to push it, but if I would ask you, are you a messenger of God?
I'll
What
say I'm
would
a
you say?
disciple of the messenger.
Okay. I understand.
But,
Okay. I won't
here's the
ask any
thing.
much. I
Here's the
won't
thing.
ask any further if you don't. No, it's okay.
No, here's the thing. I personally have witnessed the tradition of God, Sunnatullah, being enacted on me directly through me. Okay, so I have a platform where I'm capable of sending these messages from God. There's situations where it is between life and death. I will literally get inspired in the moment of what to say. Okay, I'm not nothing special. I'm not saying that I'm a messenger of God. I'm not sitting making these kind of claims because it is not for me to do so. But I have yet to be defeated in the actual real life and on the online in regards to what I have been presenting. I don't make it about myself, and I do feel the support of God in what I do. My prayers are oftenly answered, and I had experiences where in the lowest times and in the highest times, I felt God's presence outside of the Quran in my life. So I don't sit and say that I'm going to be a messenger and stuff like this, but I'll tell you this, and I have a promise from God that I will show you that it's going to come to fruition, God willing, dead or alive. I am going to win. I am going to dominate. I am going to take what is due to the believers. Whether people support me or not, after I finish my part, somebody can grab whatever stick I'm holding and they can carry on with it because it's all in God's hands. I do not claim to sit here and say that you need to obey me or I'm a messenger or all of this stuff. All I'm saying is that I have been promised that we're going to win and I'm going to win. That's it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I understand. I understand your point. It's okay. Then I have another last question. We were talking about it before on the stream here about the month of Ramadan. And some people of the Quran only community believe that the Ramadan is going to be in the 9th month. It's like now. I think it's maybe 2 or 3 days later from now on. And other ones go with the Sunni traditional Ramadan calendar. Okay.
Right.
So as I understood, they say, okay, Ramadan is an Arabic calendar, from the Arabic calendar, its name, and it's meaning rain dropping on hot soil or ground. So that would be now the 9th month. It couldn't be March or May or whatever.
Now,
so what do
depends
you
where
think?
you are in the world.
Yeah, of course. But also they say, okay, the 9th month, like the September, is the month where it's like the daytime is
Scorching
almost.
Brother, this is true in in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it's flipped. So when we're in summer, they're in winter, and when they're in winter, we're in summer. So if they're going to make the claim it's about seasons, then half the world should be going through Ramadan, and then the other half should be going through Ramadan. So it's not about the seasons. One thing that people forget is there was 12 month, 12 month, 12 month, 13 months. 12 months, 12 months, 12 months, 13 months. This is in chapter 9. They used to add a month. Why? So that the seasons would line up, or so that they would fight an extra month when they didn't want to fight.
Yeah,
They would.
Okay,
so now if you look at the lunar solar calendar, every 4 years they have a 13 month for it to line up again.
Yeah, but it's but in the Quran it states they add months, or they change the months because of fighting or whatever. Yeah, because of it's not about we have to make it again.
But that's why the months did line up before, because eventually they would add a month. See what I mean? So they didn't have that problem. And by the way, the majority of the names of the months were changed after the Blessed Prophet. Before Islam, or before Islam being introduced again to that region, the history is showing they had different names for the months and different names for the days of the week.
Okay, so if you seek for the month of Ramadan to fast, you go
I go
by
with the
what the
lunar
Sunni traditions say.
It's not Sunnis, it's lunar tradition. So you can see even in historical that the calendar was like stable. They could not change the calendar. So there's an individual that sold, this is like within the first like 15 or 20 years. If you can, I can try to find it and post it on my Telegram, where there's an individual, he wrote the date in a Gregorian calendar and in the Hijri calendar. Okay. He wrote it both because he's selling a sheep to somebody and you have to write it down. So he wrote it down. He put the Gregorian and the Arabic Hijri date, and it was within like the first 2 digits, right? And it matches to exactly what we have today. You can't go out of sync in a calendar, bro.
Okay. So on your what you know from the Quran, your opinion, I say you go with the only lunar calendar.
Yeah, the lunar calendar, because that's what moon, like shahr, means, right? So it's like from the moon.
Yeah, from moon to moon is a month. Yeah, I know.
Months, exactly. So brother, I'm not here to convince you. If you found a different calendar which you're sticking to, fast. Because on the day of judgment, God can reveal the truth to everybody, and at least you could say, I fasted, God. I was wrong or I was right, but I fasted. So me on the day of judgment, if Ramadan is not the Ramadan that I'm practicing, at least on the day of judgment, I say, God, I fasted. I was wrong. I didn't understand, but I fasted. And that will work for you. Because God is understanding. But if you presented the information and you see the information is accurate and you persist, that's on you.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay. Thank you, brother. That was everything
God
I
bless
asked.
you, bro. And I appreciate your questions.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Salam. Yes.
Hello?
What's up?
Can you hear me?
Can't hear you. It's
Hey,
low.
can you hear me now? Hello?
Hey,
Can you hear me or no? I don't know if you can hear me.
hold on. Maybe I gotta turn you up.
How about now?
Say something?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Peace. What's up?
Can you hear me still, or is it cutting in and out?
No, I can hear you. It's just low.
Oh, hold on. Let me just try and change it 1 sec. Hold on. How about
I
now?
turned you up on my side, so.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you, like, what is it that you specifically believe? Because I've been following you for a while, but I'm trying to figure out, like, what is it that you believe? I presume you're entirely against the hadith corpus, that it exists as such, but do you reject that there's any tradition that is left behind from the Prophet, right? And you're going to talk about Sunnatullah, that's in the book, but I'm talking about tradition of the Prophet for his people.
Okay, so when I reject hadith, I reject the religious authority of hadith. So I don't have halal and haram. As in the matters of the tradition, there is traditions in the readings that I hold to. Okay, there is traditions in the readings of the Quran that I hold to, because it's not possible for somebody to sit and modifying that. It's from actual text. Just because there is a tradition of reading of the Quran, that means the Quran was written and people had a way of reading it. This can be understood. But it does not mean that if something is not written, that there is a tradition that needs to be carried on, because there's nothing to refer back to. So I'll give you an example. At the start of chapter 2, it starts with Alif Lam Mim. But if you look at the text, it's saying Alam, which means pain, right? But we know from tradition that these letters are read separately, which is understandable. But even if you look at the Quran, some of the words, they don't make sense at the start of it, like Alam, Dhalika al-Kitab. So no, and then you realize as well that you have like yes, which is and all these words where you understand that these letters needs to be said separately. Okay? So the tradition can assist you there, but it's not necessary. And because there's a reading tradition of a source, it does not mean that if they didn't write it down, that tradition also has to exist, because there's no way for me to verify it. I simply reject the religious authority from hadith. Does it contain history? Some records. Can I say that the Prophet said this? Not with an open heart, not with certainty. Can I take some understandings of it? Sure, if it aligns with the Quran. But can I say that this is halal and this is haram because of it? Absolutely not.
Okay.
Does that make
But
sense?
here's the deal. So you say that about the hadith, right? That you can't derive any religious rulings from it, right? So
Mhm.
my question to you would be, how would you assess that this Quran that you recite, right, is the one that was recited by the Prophet? Like, obviously, I understand if you're talking
Mhm.
about word for word, huruf for huruf, yeah, it's going to be different, right? But talking about that itself, like, what makes you think that that book is the same book, other than the text? So if you're going to say that the matan is the one that stands out, if you take that aside, what is the number one thing that makes you say that, hey, this is the one that goes back to the Prophet?
So you did take away the metin. The metin is the number one thing that takes it back to God, not to the Prophet, because it came
Okay.
from God. But let's put the metin to the side. The linguistic beauty of this Quran, it's not possible for a human to even add a verse because they will have to match the technicalities that is being presented in the Arabic that a mere human cannot do. To add a full verse of the Quran in that nature. Removing a verse from the Quran is so repetitive in the way that it presents itself that you would have to remove many verses and then it falls apart for you to hide an idea from the Quran. God also, if when I personally ponder upon the Quran, I don't see internal contradictions or any form of internal corruption. So these forms there, it shows me that it has this perfect attributes that I do not find in any other book. So, and the book itself is talking about God. Now, when it comes down to the actual text itself, historically, it has been shown that it can be traced back through the manuscripts that they've been shown to the time of the Prophet in its entirety, to the time of Uthman, who was a person with the Prophet. Now, you could clearly say that, well, what if Uthman added a verse? Now, this is where the method helps. Me, as a person who is capable of testing this book is testable. And I see that it's always passing every test that it's giving me. So those that disbelieve, if you warn them or you don't warn them, they will not believe. Okay, I can test that. In their ears, there's deafness. They can't hear you. Hey, bro, what did I just say? I don't know. They're blind. They cannot see the consequences of their own actions. Their hearts are sealed. They have no empathy for the other side. Testable. God is the one who brings water down and he revives the land with it and he causes it to testable, right? The idea of God. So now we have a definition of God does not die, all dominating, everlasting, if an infinite, all knowing, reflective of the reality that I see. Testable. So it's checking off everything without any error. Why would I doubt it when it tells me that I have preserved this remembrance?
Right. So here's the thing. I'm not telling you to doubt the book itself, but the same exact analogy that you used for the book, because you said that historically we can say it traces back to the time of the Prophet. So the question I have for you is, how come you wouldn't accept the same parameters for the hadiths? Not all of them,
Because
but a lot of them. Because I'll give you an
because
example. I'll give you one example. One example, this is clearly the most, I mean, there is no clear evidence more than this. The five
sure.
prayers. The five prayers, like Sunni, Shi'i, Ibadi, Mutazila, whoever, all agree on five prayers. All agree. And even on the units, they agree. Why? Could it be
Okay.
that there is something that was before it that is universally carried around without even it being written and then written later on?
So, in the matters of the prayer, I do not deny that there's a tradition that can be traced to the people of the Prophet and the Prophet himself. I don't say that the application of what you're doing is what the Prophet did, because that's even reflected in the Hadith books. So, some of the stuff that you say didn't come from the Prophet. The actions itself, the unit counts, and of that nature, yes, there is a mutawatir that has happened for a very long time. It does not necessitate that that's the only way of praying. So for me, I am presenting an example that even if you did not have this tradition, the Quran can still be applied and the Quran can still be fulfilled. Now, the problem with the 5 prayers is 2 of your prayers, by the standard of the Quran, are not considered prayers. And the Prophet himself would have not called these as the written prayers, as it says in the hadith. God has talked about 3 prayers in the Quran, and the Prophet has the concept of a prayer and has a concept of the written prayers. The written prayers are the ones where you say them out loud, and the other prayers are nice to have, but they're not mandatory.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I understand the point that you're coming from, but I've seen this a lot, that what you do. So, for example, if let's say you have a Sunni on the other side, and he brings the exegesis of Tabari, right, or Ibn Kathir, right? And then you have a Shia, he brings the exegesis of, I don't know, Tabatabai or whoever, right? Then you'd be like, oh, no, you take it from this guy. I don't have to use this thing, that thing. But here's the point. Whatever point of view that you're trying to make is a point of view that you, I presume, have come to the conclusion of it yourself, if not being influenced by somebody else, right? So,
Well, it's myself.
somebody
Well,
else
it's my
has
God,
an
but yeah,
opinion
sure.
that is different, like an interpretation that is different than what you have, right? And then you declare, this is not Islam. This is Sunni
But
Islam.
brother,
Not Islam.
it's simpler than that. If I am Tabari, I'm going to hold on to the Quran, and I'm going to hold on to reports outside of the Quran. If I am a Shi'i exegesis, I'm going to hold on to the Quran. I'm going to hold on to reports outside of the Quran, and I want to make them jive. If you're going to hold on to just the Quran, it is not possible for you to have that interpretation. It is not possible, and
But
it's
you can.
reflected
No,
in what they
absolutely you
do.
can. Absolutely,
What?
you can. Look at the Quran. Look at the people that say they follow the Quran alone. You have many different people who follow different interpretations.
That's not my
They hold an interpretation
point.
that they've come to themselves. Is that true?
Brother, that's not my point. I mean, the interpretation that I'm being given by Quran alone people and by Sunnis and by Shias, the Quran dispels them. So the verse is very clear. Do not be loud in your prayer and do not be silent in your prayer, and find the middle ground. And then I am making a clear argument from the Quran that God talks about 3 prayers. The Sunnis, when they're going to say the prayers, they're only loud in the Fajr, the morning, the evening, and the night, which coincides with the Quran. The other 2, they're not loud in it, which goes against the Quran.
Brother, just one thing, I have to push back. So by that same analogy, the 2 rak'ah that come after Isha, it's silent as well. The rak'ah after the 2 rak'ah of Maghrib is silent as well. Is that something is that not a prayer? Was the prayer supposed to be?
No, it isn't. That's my point. It isn't. It actually isn't, because it's not supposed to be silent. You're supposed to hear yourself.
No.
Because God is telling you. It's not because of somebody's opinion. And now when you go to the Shia, they can combine prayers to make them 3.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, they keep calling it 5, but it's 3.
No, but it's better to pray 5. Even they say it's better to pray 5.
Brother, it's better you pray 6. One of them for you is optional, but if you're going to apply that same standard where your time of tasbih, the time of exaltation, which does not align with a prayer, right? There's one that is after the sunrise. You guys make that one optional. But in the Quran, if you're going to do that, it's not optional.
Yeah, no, brother, I understand your point of view. What you're saying is an interpretation. I'm just not this subject.
I'm not saying interpretation, but I'm telling you the surface of what the verse says. There's no interpretation. Is taking the words and coming up with the solution.
Brother, just one question. Is God the light in the heavens and the earth? Is God the light? When I see a light in the heavens and the earth, is that God?
Okay, yes.
Is that God?
No.
Why is it not God? Doesn't God say it's God?
Because your eyes do not reach God. That's what God says. And the verse here now is understood as,
why don't you take it literally though? Here's the thing,
because in this case it cannot be applied literal.
What?
But this verse here about God's attribute, it's not going to be applied literal because it does not make sense when it's literal. In the verses about the prayer, it is applied literal because it's physical. There doesn't need to be a deeper level of interpretation.
Yes.
There just needs to be exegesis at this point. There's a difference between ta'wil, which is interpretation, and then there's tafsir, which is exegesis. The verse here clearly states to you, do not be loud and do not be low. There's no need for interpretation.
Say that too. And what was the context of that verse in that scenario? What was the context?
Brother, what's the context got to do with what God is saying?
No, well, you know the context matters. You know the context matters. I've seen you talk with other people before. When somebody brings something, like, no, read the context after and before. You know
Yeah,
context
okay,
matters.
sure, bro. Then the context is about prayer. So here, I'll
Okay,
show you how the
what was
yeah,
it?
God talks about the prayer here, brother.
No, but when was it though? When was it though? What was
No, you're
this?
talking about the reason of revelation. That's not context.
The reason of the revelation is not the context at all.
No, not for me and you.
Why?
Because you're trying to contextualize it to what the prophet was going through. But the Quran is for you. It's not to what the prophet was going through. And even in Asbab al-Nuzul, it still applies that you're not supposed to be loud or short in your prayer.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
But the understanding that I have still applies to Asbab al-Nuzul.
Okay, I understand that. I understand that. But if that applies, then why is it that the famous ayah that they always bring to you, the Ati Allah, Ati Rasul, right?
Mhm.
You say no, and it means this, it means that, it's different. You got a different interpretation than somebody else. Because I'll give you an example. So I presume you interpreted in a way that obey God, obey the messenger, and those amongst you, you think that it's obeying the Quran first and foremost, and coming back to the Quran, coming back to Rasul and the God, right? Which is the Quran, right? So that's what you would presume that it is.
Obeying the
Right?
messenger is his authoritative role in the community, okay? And his ability to discern between people. It does not mean he gives me halal and haram. That's God's job.
Did not give you halal and haram. I want to know. Like,
The
how?
prophet can't say from himself that this is haram.
But here's the thing. So what if God gives him a revelation
Yeah,
to
okay,
give to
cool.
his community, to his community,
Right.
right?
Could he do that with Moses?
But now I lost you. I cannot hear you.
Can he do that with Moses? Can Moses go make something haram which is not in the Torah? Because God told him to do so?
To reveal to his community, God
Okay,
can.
perfect. So we have now in chapter 3 where God states all the food for the children of Israel was legal except what Israel forbade on himself before the Torah came down. And now, if they're going to make a claim, he says, bring the Torah and recite it if you're truthful. So when it came to the concept of halal and haram, God said to the children of Israel to bring the Torah. So it's not bring the Torah and bring the Talmud, which is the oral traditions of the Jews. God, when it comes to halal and haram, I bring the Quran. I don't bring hadith and Quran.
No. Here's
It's the same example for you, bro.
No, but Quran is supreme. But here's the thing.
It's not Quran is supreme. There is God, even in the Jews, they'll say the Torah is supreme over the Talmud. They'll say the exact same things, but they bring it both to the table. Here, God is telling you, do not bring both, bring one, which is the Torah in their case. In our case, it's the Quran. So there's no halal, haram. And then I'll take you to the verse, which is very easy. Oh, prophet, why do you forbid on yourself what God has made legal?
I know the verse that you mean, but I understand. But here's the thing. So how would you know anything that happened ever? Like
it's not necessary for my guidance, brother. Do you understand that it's not necessary for your guidance? God is not going to ask me at what night did this verse get revealed. God's going to ask me that this verse is telling you to be kind to your parents. Were you kind to your parents? Okay, this verse is telling you don't be loud in your prayer and don't be like silent in your prayer. Why were you silent in your prayer when I told you not to be? No, I have given you money. What have you done with your money? There's people that came to your life. How did you talk to them? God is not going to ask me, what did Aisha tell the prophet on the 7th night after their marriage? This is not what that's not what guidance is. That's not
talk about it though. But here's the thing. Even I see you yourself still talk about it.
Because Sunnis bring it up to me. I don't, brother, when I'm by myself, I don't go and sit and look at this stuff for my own pleasure. I look at it when someone's coming to me with a point of argument. I don't like those books. I dislike those books. They insult the prophet a lot more than they give good tidings to the prophet. I spend the reasons why Sunnis struggle with me because I practice one book many times during the day, while they need to uphold hundreds of books, hundreds, because for every hadith there's a counter hadith or a narration that negates it. Any hadith you bring, there's always something that's going to contradict it or give it an exception. The game of hadith is such a twisted game where I am very good at it, because I understand these things that they bring, where I bring you a hadith where now you're in a problem. But I can't do that with the Quran, because if the hadith was from God, right, the Sahih hadith, then I shouldn't find any contradictions in it. I keep finding contradictions within itself.
Right.
I
But
don't
here's the
find
thing,
that in the
maybe
Quran, so I don't need to live in garbage. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but this maybe it's a misunderstanding of what you've seen as contradiction. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding of what you see.
But that's easy as apologetics. I'm talking about the surface
It is.
level.
No,
But
I
that's what
understand.
Christians say, brother. That's what
You said you
Christians say. You
argue.
know that, right?
No, I know, but let me tell you something. So here's the thing. So when you talk to these guys, right, and the reason why you get into an argument, like they get to a point of an argument with them, right? It's obviously because it's polemics. Polemics has nothing to do with discussion, right? Like right now, me and you are having a discussion right now, right? I'm trying to understand your point of view, and you're trying to like tell me, oh, why this point of view is wrong. It gets a discussion, but when it becomes, polemics, it just falls apart, because the whole purpose of the conversation at that point becomes the other side trying to defeat the other side. It's not about winning at all, right? I'm sure you've experienced this. Like they don't care what you say. It's like
Of
they're bringing
course.
shut off.
Of
And
course,
also
of course.
maybe on your side as well. Like they bring you this and this.
No, no, brother. There's a difference. I was on their side. I know what their side is about. They've never understood my side. Because if they are going to be honest, it's like a Sunni debating with a Christian. There's no way for a Sunni to accept Christianity except if he starts to lie to himself. There's absolutely no way for me to regress into your millah when God has saved me from your concepts. My life as a Sunni was detrimental compared to what my life is now. What you're offering me is something that is less of a quality of what God has given me. Why would I accept your side? I'm here to help you, not argue with you or debate with you. You cannot substantiate your religion from the Quran. You cannot. It's not possible for you to show me where obey the messenger means to go outside of the Quran for a religious authority. Halal and haram. When there's absolutely no verse in the Quran that indicates there's halal and haram outside of the Quran. So you, unfortunately, you're on the back foot, not me. You want me to come back to what you have, yet I found my salvation and my certainty.
I'm not a Sunni.
I don't know what you are. I'm just saying. I'm just making that argument.
Yeah, but I understand what you mean. But it's like, do you even try and have a discussion with these guys? I'm not trying to like.
Yeah, bro. I had more offline discussions with proper scholars where there is no shouting and debating and stuff. But they crash, bro. They crash. Do you know what it means? They crash.
But I have to be honest with you, absolutely, because I also was a Sunni, and I have to be honest with you. Like the issue that they have, right? Obviously, you've heard it on the Shia side as well. The Quran not being complete. The same narrations exist in Sunnism. They just hide it for you. They just hide it from you. I know you've heard it, like the 5 suttras, right? They just hide it from you. It's just that
Brother,
they don't crash. It's just that they don't.
Let me be very clear with you.
That level where you're questioning them. It's like it becomes a clash of authorities. And I understand your point of view. And I understand, like, I was having a discussion with a friend who was like, Quranists or disbelievers and kafirs and mushriks and kafirs, right? He was saying that, right? And I was trying to push back on him, like, hold on, how can you say this? It's like, oh, there's ijma on this. There's ijma on this. There's this, there's that,
I don't care, brother.
It doesn't make sense, though.
Yeah, but I don't care. That's just them labeling. But even if the hadith is traced back to the Prophet and signed with the Prophet's hand and stamped by the Prophet, I am not allowed to take that. As God tells me in the Quran, you're not allowed to take that. Even if it can be traced with authenticity to the Prophet himself, I am not allowed to take that. Because is the hadith ever called an ayah?
No.
Be honest.
It's historical recollection. It's
Is it called an ayah? Do we ever refer to a narration as an ayah?
No.
No. And we refer to every verse in the Quran as an ayah. And God states very clear, تلك آيات الله نتلو عليك بالحق فبأي حديث بعد الله وآياته يؤمنون. These are the verses of God we recite to you in truth. In what hadith after God and his verses do they believe in? So for me, I don't have any hadith to believe in after God's verses. There is nothing for me to believe in after. And after the truth, there's a verse. After the truth, what is after the truth other than falsehood? I can give you many verses where it says, فَمَنْ كَذَّبَ بِهَذَا الْحَدِيث. Whoever lies about this hadith.
Yeah, I know, but that it's funny that exact verse that you gave, right, is falsehood. How come you wouldn't interpret that as in just being that only God exists, since God is haq, right? And God is the only.
Exactly, brother. You guys
But there
keep
is no activity.
attributing the words of the messenger to the messenger. So it's not coming from God. Because if it came from God, you would say that's obeying God. It's not obeying the messenger. When God states obey God and obey the messenger, that means the messenger has agency. But we have to understand this concept of agency that a messenger has. Is it equal to God? Absolutely not. So what does God have that the messenger doesn't have? The ability to do halal and haram. It's very simple.
But it's history. But here's the thing. I understand your point of view, but it's history. You still got to take it as history. It's still something that historically happened. Like
I'm not
who are the
bound to it.
events
Yes,
after
yes,
the
yes. There's
Prophet?
historical. I don't care, but yes, there's history, but I'm not bound to it. I'm not going to be questioned about it. I'm not a person that needs to uphold it. If, for example, Moses told his people to go sacrifice a yellow cow because there was a murder, that was revelation that was given to Moses that was just to his people. It does not mean that every time there's a murder now in the states of the Zionists that they have to go find a yellow cow and sacrifice it because it's sunnah, akhi. That doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And this is very present with the concept of the qibla change. It was a revelation that was just for this people. So there's nothing outside of the Quran. It's very simple.
But I'm sure you know about the history. So what do you think of what happened after that? In terms of
About
history, what do you think happened
about what?
after the Prophet? After the Prophet, because you've got some of your Quranists that say the religion was hijacked within 50 years, right?
Yeah,
And then you
eventually
have
the
other
religion was
side,
hijacked.
who side to say it was all hunky dory. You have the Shia side who say no, it was clearly that it was Ali who was supposed to be the successor to the Prophet.
Is that religion, brother?
It's history.
Ali being a successor, Ali being a successor, Omar being a successor, is that religion? No, it's politics. Ayn ala rasi, history. Like, okay, cool, history. But what's that got to do with guidance? Nothing. The book of guidance is there. What's that religious problems that you're talking about? How is that religious to? How is that pertaining to me? 1400 years, 1300 years. Who cares if it was Ali or Omar? It does not change nothing for me now, and I don't even need to know about it. That's like somebody arguing in 1,000 years. Oh, Biden should have been a president, not Trump, or Trump. It was stolen from Trump.
But it's not though.
It's
but here's
what?
It's not. It's not though, because here's the thing. Right now, you're dealing with religious issues, and I would bring you during the time of the Prophet, but I know you'd just be saying that, oh, everything that needs to go back to the Quran, right? But I'm talking about his commandment, his people who were around him, right? His commandment as a ruler, right? As a judge, right? As a communal leader. Like those commandments, it is there. You can't deny that it's not there.
Where are they?
The history of it is there. It's found in.
But brother, what is that? Where would he get his commandments from when he's judging between two people other than the Quran? I am told to learn from the Quran and to judge in people the truth, just like how the Prophet was given the book in truth, so that he would show to the so that he would like judge between the people what they differed in what God has shown him. So that's right. From the book, brother.
He would judge.
I still don't understand what your argument is. I'm telling you, I don't find in the Quran anything pointing me outside of the Quran. But you're saying, well, history. Can you believe that the Quran is from God without relying on history? Is that something that you could do, or is it impossible?
From the mountain, yes. But here's the thing.
So where's the issue now?
No, the issue is this. Could you believe a hadith is from the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Even if it is, what's that got to do with me, brother?
Because
in 2025,
the commandment that he gets, right? You talk about it and say that he would be taking it from his inspiration, revelation would be coming from God, right? And a ruling that he would have, right,
no,
would be something that he would think with the commandment that he's received from God. But he has
brother, if he's getting a commandment from God, where would that come from? Where do I find the commandments of God?
You can find it in the historical sources, in the saying.
How is that possible, brother? How is that possible? Think about what you said. It's a commandment from God, but it came from the messenger.
No,
you're saying that that's obeying the messenger.
A commandment from God came to the Prophet, right? He's executing it, right? Based on his judgment, and his judgment.
Perfect. He's executing a command to his people. It's not a binding. He can't tell me that gold is haram.
Is it a good example?
This is not something that he has the authority to do.
But is it a good example? Is it a good example?
No, it isn't. It is against the Quran. It is against what God has said. So even if the prophet you're
How is
saying
it
has
against
said
the
that,
Quran?
it's against the Quran. It's like the prophet saying to somebody, hey, you see there's beef over there that's halal and there's pork, go eat the pork. That is rejected.
But how is it? Here's the thing. How is it against the Quran? How?
Because it's there's no change to the words of God. لا تبديل لكلام. That is the upright religion. God said that pork is haram unless you have no option. It's end of the story. When God states that the decorations that he brought for the humans is legal for them until the end of the that's the end of the story. When he says that here, I'll recite to you what is haram and halal, it's the end of the story. No one's gonna come to me and say to me, wearing red is haram. That's crazy.
I understand that, but is God all powerful or no?
Is God all powerful?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So here's the thing. Could God choose to cancel out the akhirah for you?
No, he cannot. He cannot cancel his word, bro.
He's obliged to fulfill for us an akhirah.
No. God can change the way something is done. Okay, God can change something that is done, but he does not change what he has said. So if he wants you, for example, he says, I want you to wake up in the morning and to go to work. He can tell you to take highway A and then abrogate highway A and then you go through highway B, but you're still going to work.
Right, but here's the thing. Is he obliged? Is he obliged to give you and everybody an akhirah? Is he obliged? Is he forced to?
To give us what?
Like is he forced to deliver us an akhirah?
An akhirah?
Yeah,
because God had promised.
Is he forced to?
He's promised. So are you saying that God has the capability of lying? Yes, he has absolutely every ability to lie. Is God a liar, brother?
No, God is not a liar, but can he?
Okay, so when God states that the prophet does not have the ability to go outside of the Quran from halal and haram, God can change that, is what you're saying, that he would be a liar.
But the halal and haram, here's the thing. If just something is not mentioned, then it makes it automatically halal, right? So you're going based off of that premise, right?
No.
But if something's not mentioned,
brother, I'm going about the definition of God. God has created the human being from the time of Adam. There is things that if the human being does, it is a great sin. And if there's things that the human being does, it's very beneficial for him. That's exactly what God has programmed from the get-go. And the book is telling you that. The prophet doesn't have it in him to tell you what's halal and haram.
But is the book a clear book, though? I understand.
Yes, it's a clear book. God states it's a clear book.
Okay. So why was it that you were having a conversation, like literally a few conversations before, you were talking about the Ramadan, right? The timing of it. If it's a clear book, why doesn't it mention you that?
Because the book itself is clear, but it does not mean that the human spirit that's reading it is pure enough to understand it. There's people who are more pure than the others, so they will get the more of the clarity of the clear book, brother. You're talking about subjective nature of human being, not the book itself.
No,
again, I don't understand what your argument is. Do you really want to just take the hadith and say that that's what it is? Then go for it. I don't understand what you have brought. No argument. It's other than, well, hypothetically. You haven't presented me a verse where it says to me to go outside of the Quran for halal and haram.
Why would you say, if you take the hadith, you're saying you're not a Muslim, you reject the faith, you do this, you do that.
I say that?
The interpretation of that you have.
Brother, you're straw manning me. I don't go into those kind of narratives until somebody wants to call me a kafir for believing in the book of God. Then I will let him hear who he is as well. Because nobody in his right mind will go to a person that says that I believe in the book of God and call him a disbeliever. Doesn't make sense.
I understand that. What they're doing is wrong. But here's the thing: the title of every
but brother,
Sunni.
I say Sunni is
not Islam. This one is not Islam.
Sunni and Shia is not Islam. No, that is not what Islam is.
What is Islam? Is submission to God. How do you know that they haven't submitted to
God?
So
you have to submit to God. You don't submit to what Bukhari wrote down. You don't submit to what Al-Kafi wrote down. You don't submit to that. You can't say that it's authentic. With God says, وَلَا تَقِفُ بِمَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ. Do not pursue what you have no knowledge in. Are you sure that the Prophet said those words? You give me hypotheticals. I want you to tell me with certainty that Bukhari is exactly what the Prophet said.
The Qur'an that you're reading, are you sure is that what the Prophet recited? Because you yourself.
Yes, I am. No, it's not what the Prophet recited. I am sure that that's what was written. You guys have a problem with the reading and reciting and what was written. I know that that's what was written. Yes.
So, but it was not the same thing that the Prophet recited, though, was it?
Because his dialect is extinct.
Right. So how can you be sure on something is that he didn't even
Because
recite
I am reading the book. I'm not sitting here trying to recite it as the man did 1400 years ago. I think you're missing the point.
No, I think brother, you're missing the point. The thing is, what you're saying.
No, your point is that I have to recite it like the Prophet when I never was ordered to recite it like the Prophet. I don't have his dialect.
But who was the
I
teacher?
have to read it, and I'm reading a clear book that has been preserved.
Yeah, but who was the teacher of the book? Who was the teacher?
God is.
If we're not supposed to recite like he recited.
God. No, you guys don't, bro. It's not possible for somebody in this day and age to recite like the Prophet. It is not a possibility. You do not have that dialect. You do not have that way of speaking anymore. They don't say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim during the time of the Prophet. They say Bi'ism Allah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim.
Yes.
Yes, we don't. There's no recitation that does that, brother.
Okay, so here's the thing. Now to push back on this, the same thing can be used for the hadith. Same thing can be used for the hadith, right? The same thing can be used for the hadith.
What do you mean, brother? What is?
I'll give you an example. Why is it that the hudud is almost, regardless of school of thought, the hudud is pretty much the same. Regardless of school of thought, the hudud is the same.
Excuse me?
The laws
For an adulterer, if she commits zina, that's married, what's her had? What's her punishment?
You're gonna talk about the regime. Yeah, I know you're gonna.
Yeah. Okay. So, and in your hadith books, that is sahih. It says whoever imposes a condition that is not found in the book of God, that condition is falsehood. So show me in the book of God where you're imposing this condition.
There's lashing
So your own hadith supports me.
No, but here's the thing. You're talking about something that wasn't even implemented.
You're running, brother. You're running. Okay, where does it say that 5 circles? You're running, brother. It doesn't. You don't implement it because you don't have Sharia law. If somebody is going to go become a super Sunni and become Sharia law, they're stoning adulterers. It's just because the world doesn't accept it from you.
That's not true. Historically, it wasn't true. Because here's the thing: for you to find.
What do you mean historically it's not true, bro? They were stoning adulterers in Saudi Arabia 100 years ago, less than 100 years ago, bro.
You know how rare it was to get 4 witnesses to witness the act itself, the penetration in that moment. Do you know how rare it is?
Hasbunallah, brother. Do you know it has been implemented in Saudi not too long ago? In the 70s and the 80s.
But they implement a lot of other things there as well. Does that mean it's the truth?
They got it from the religion. Like I don't know what your point is. You have made a proposition in regards to religious authority outside of hadith. I brought you a religious condition that is outside of hadith, regardless of it's implemented or not. And I showed you how the hadith itself negates that condition. The hadith negates the condition that wearing gold is haram. The hadith negates the condition that wearing red is haram. The hadith negates the condition that 5 suckles makes it legal. The hadith negates the condition that a man can breastfeed off an old lady.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Every single point that you gave, right? You'll find a school of thought that will go against it. You'll find
exactly apologetics, brother. Bravo. We don't have that with the Quran. We can't go in the Quran. We can't go in the Quran and be like, oh, you can't whip him 100 times.
Let me ask you a question. You don't have apologetics when you talk with atheists. You don't have apologetics when you talk with Christians. You don't have apologetics.
I'm talking to people who believe in. Do you believe in the Quran?
Yes.
Do you believe it's preserved?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what's the need of apologetics now? You're asking me to prove its preservation.
I'm doing the apologetics for hadith because you're saying everybody who believes.
Okay, then how do you know that the Quran is preserved? How do you know that they didn't alter it? Watch how you're gonna embarrass yourself on the day of judgment for what you're gonna say. Why?
I'll give you the main reason they didn't alter it, because God says He will preserve the remembrance of it. Remember.
Oh, but you told me, when I use that, you tell me that's not sufficient.
What now? I lost you.
Brother, when I used the book to prove its preservation, you told me that it's not sufficient.
No, I'm not saying sufficient. I'm saying my point of view. Listen, we're saying the same thing.
You went into a circle.
No, you don't understand.
So you believe that the Quran is preserved because God said so.
Yes.
And when I said that, you wanted to push back at me.
No, because you're saying hadith is not preserved. I'm saying it is preserved, and it is something that the Prophet said.
Okay, so how many ayahs did the people memorize? Did they memorize 15,000 ayats, and then we only got 6,000 of them? Because Bukhari had to memorize 300,000 hadith, and he only gave you 7,000. So 99% of it was false. and the
No, I know what you're
individual.
going to say about the Revaya being wrong. But if it goes
Brother,
against
it's not even reviving. Your point is moot. You're applying a miracle from God onto something that is not from God, which is hadith. The hadith books is not from God. It's not revelation from God. It is not from revelation from God. What Bukhari wrote down is not revelation from God.
But it is from Prophet. It is from the Prophet.
It isn't. The Prophet's not going to say that the women are crooked.
I'll give you an example.
Is the Prophet going to say that women are crooked?
No, let me ask you something.
Brother, is the Prophet going to say women are crooked?
Now you're trying to strawman me on this.
It's not strawmanning me. It's in your Sahih Bukhari. Is the Prophet going to order the drinking of urine? Is the Prophet going to tell you about Aisha's menstruation? That's revelation. Is the Prophet going to tell you that you need 3 stones to wipe your butt? That's revelation. Is the Prophet going to tell you that women and donkeys and men are the same? Is that revelation?
Where does it say these things?
In Bukhari, bro. Which one would you like to see?
What?
Which one would you like to see? That women are crooked, or women on donkeys or which one you would like? Or would you like to say that, bro, Moses is running after a rock naked?
I know, but here's the
thing. Or drinking urine is good for you.
Those are fabrications, though. Those are fabrications.
It's sahih.
But no, you don't understand what sahih means. Sahih is talking about the isnad itself, not the matan itself. It's just the isnad itself.
I know this. So it's not preserved.
What is not preserved?
So it's not preserved.
The hadith?
Yeah.
No, not the entire corpus, because there's many of them.
So you pick and choose. So who tells you that it's preserved or not? Which ones are preserved?
Which ones are preserved? The
yes.
ijma. Which one is preserved?
Okay, so give me one that's ijma that's preserved. Come on.
Yes.
The one about the rajam is, you know that, right?
I know.
You know the one about rajam is ijma. It's in the hadith. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know.
And you know the one that where if you impose a condition that this is also by ijma.
I understand your point.
It's a contradiction. Do you know also by ijma that Solomon had sex with 70 women in one night? That's ijma. That's also acceptable.
Yeah, and you're talking about the handicapped child or something, right?
No, it's not. Forget the handicapped child. I want to see a human being having sex in 12 hours with 70 women and ejaculating in every single one of them.
Buddy, I understand your point of view.
It's a miracle.
I'm not antagonistic to your point of view. It's just that
you are. You're literally trying to tell me that the hadith is preserved, yet you have presented zero evidence of its preservation. And when I'm presenting you what it states, you're denying it.
No, because I don't believe in it. That's the thing.
You don't believe in hadith?
What?
You don't believe in hadith?
No, I'm very Quran centric now. I'm being honest with you. But I'm
Why are you arguing with me?
Because I know many of them, and I know where is
why are you arguing with me?
From, right?
Why are you debating me then?
This stuff it's not good.
But where do I call them mushriks, brother? Other than if they attack me.
Every single live I see, you're like, oh, this guy is mushrik, this guy's a kafir, this guy's.
But you don't even know who you're talking to. Go watch the other sermon. No, I don't. I make it a point not to call the person a mushrik. You know that? I make it a point to not directly call a Sunni or a Shia a mushrik. If they want to insult me and call me a kafir or a zindiq, at that point I call him a mushrik. I don't go around saying Sunnis are mushriks. I don't go around saying Christians are mushriks. Do you know that? I don't go around saying Jews are mushriks. Do you know that? So you're just sitting here making this. Why? Because it's not for me to sit there and say it directly.
No, but it is for you to say a Sunni.
They have concepts of shirk. You know, there's a concept of shirk. It does not make him a full polytheist.
You said that Sunni has a concept of shirk, but you don't have the same energy to the Christians. You don't have the same energy to the Christians.
Yeah, I do. No, you don't. You don't know who you're talking to. Christians, the majority of the Christians that I have a discussion with, they're cordial. They don't sit here and call me a kafir. They don't call me a heretic. But when a Christian wants to sit and insult me, I bet you'll hear me call him a pagan many times.
Yeah, but here's the thing: have I insulted you in here from the opposite side? Have I insulted you?
Have I called you a mushrik?
No, but you're inciting. It's not necessary. It's just something. You could almost just say it. You could almost flat out say it. You're inciting that. Hey, it's not necessary. What you guys do is just extra. It's not preserved. It's this. So basically, we're following falsehood. That is your claim.
Yes, you're following falsehood. Thank you. That's exactly it.
What does
But
that
brother,
make? What does that
you've
make?
been so slippery. I don't know who I'm talking to. You're a Quran centric that rejects the hadith,
No, I don't
that
reject
wants
all
to
of
say
it.
the hadith is
No,
preserved.
listen,
Some
hold
of it
on.
is preserved, and you get to pick.
No, no. You need to look at it according to the Quran and according to the reasons that God has given you.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it, bro. So there's halal and haram outside of the Quran?
We're just going around in circles, buddy.
No, because even the Quran-centric people I know, they'll tell you there's no halal and haram outside of the Quran. The
I know that. I know what
The
you mean. There is
Quran-centric
no halal and
approach
haram.
is the
definitive,
applications.
not definitive, but there is moral practices. There's not
Like
definitive, but there's moral practices.
brother, the people who are understanding Quran-centric, you're not even Quran-centric. You're
No,
not.
no, no.
You're not a
Here's the thing.
Sunni.
Here's
You're
the
not a
thing. I'll
Shiite.
ask you a
You're not a Quran alone. You're not Quran. You're just doing whatever you like, which is your right. But to come and
No, no,
debate, you don't even know
It is
your
my
position.
right. It is my right, but I want to ask you one thing. I want to ask you one thing.
You asked me many things.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So you say, oh, he's not Quran centric or this, that. According to, let's say, the Code 21, whatever thing they say, you wouldn't be a Quranist, would you? They wouldn't consider you a full-on Quranist. They would consider you misguided, whatever. So now we're circling back at the necessity of a group accepting you,
Okay.
right?
Forget the labels. Very simply, is there halal and haram outside of the Quran?
No, not in the point that you were trying to make. No.
So what were we debating about for the last?
What we're
30
debating
minutes?
is that there is moral guidance outside of it, and there is the guidance of the Prophet that you should follow. It's not mandatory, but you should. I'll give you an example.
That was never the point of the debate. That was never the point of the discussion. That was never. I was simply telling you my position is there's no halal and haram. If there is some stuff that is nice in hadith, I cannot say that the Prophet said it. If it aligns with the Quran, then God already said it. I think you missed everything that I
agree on
said.
this point.
Brother, you have a problem where you just want to debate. You just want to say no. That is
No, it's
this
not.
is
It's
what
not
I'm
saying
picking
no,
up.
but I'll give you an example. Like,
Even when I'm telling you this, you're saying no.
I'm asking one thing.
Like even when I tell you this, you're saying no to me.
No. It's not no, but
No.
listen, what you're asking is to reject an entire tradition that you've been brought up on, right? And that's.
I'm not asking you. I'm telling you that's what I did. You want to do that? You're welcome to the club. You don't want to do that? It's your life. I'm not telling you. I'm not demanding you. I'm showing you the flaws in hadith. However you react, that's on you. I'm not here to make you become a Quran alone. I'm not making you try to love the book of God. That's not for me. I'm showing you the inconsistencies. You don't like the inconsistency, it does not mean that I'm wrong.
The inconsistencies, but what if there is no inconsistencies? The way you position it.
We've already showed you inconsistencies that
No,
you
but
did
that
not
is
have
if you-
answered.
here's-
You're
that is if
only
you
going
focus
around
on
in circles.
party.
This is not a healthy discussion anymore, brother.
All right, fair enough, buddy. All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Take
All right, thank you.
care.
You too, bye.
Submitter.
Salam, brother. How are you?
Doing well. How are you, brother? Peace.
Yeah, peace to you too as well. That was fun.
That was patience.
That was maybe some silly person trying to set a trap. I
No,
don't
you
know.
can't say
Maybe
that,
Allah
brother.
knows.
It's not. It's
Allah
not
knows.
that. The person obviously has his own contentions, and I'm sorry, he has his confusions. If he's
Yeah.
trying to deal with his confusions as if he knows what he's saying, he didn't bring anything of, in my
Well,
opinion, of
there was
value.
no clear position. That's
There was no clear position and there was no clear argument. The only argument that I got from him is that there is hadith that can be traced to the Prophet and that you have to accept it. I
Yeah.
said there's no religious authority outside of the Quran. He was arguing that there is. And then when I was presenting to him the verses of his own books, he says, I'm not a Sunni. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he's just playing, I don't want to say
Well,
the word, but he's like playing the advocate.
Well, this is the thing about the world today. What people say and what they do. I mean, there was the claim of being Quran alone, but then what was happening? What was he doing? It was trying to get some kind of acknowledgement that there or acceptance of a hadith culture. So the doing was clearly opposite. How are you anyway?
I'm doing well, man.
So what's triggered me to call in is your friend Waleed. And I couldn't help but feel his passion towards this certain topic about worldly knowledge. And that first topic about worldly knowledge was something that I don't know if you could ever remember, but you really made it so simplified and kind of contrasted the importance of the hikmah in the Quran and the worldly knowledge. Do you remember that conversation? That talk you?
So for me, the worldly knowledge, the wisdom is the application. So the worldly knowledge helps you in understanding that wisdom.
Okay, the way I was looking at it was this. So I took it like, okay, the Quran is the wisdom, and we need that clearly to be able to navigate through life. But then it kind of did bring a whole new sort of opening to the worldly knowledge and the importance of worldly knowledge. And if you remember and recall, the kind of things that Walid was talking about was about the kind of deceptions and the level of deception and how has it got this bad and all of these things. And I could almost, I don't know, feel the passion inside
He's very
inside him.
passionate.
Yeah, which is amazing. Now that has led me to want to call in and just, I don't know how I could ever contact or get connected with Walid if
Brother
you're
Walid?
listening. I personally have spent the last 25 years using an evidence-based sort of system to try and like discover kind of like deep truths. And I think that I've discovered like I've got a whole treasure trove of stuff. And I really think they would really help him in the
Okay.
mission that he's kind of got. Because in life, what I've discovered is that people either take on someone's knowledge which has been built up on based on prejudice, someone they trust. Mostly, this is kind of the majority I'm talking about, and or they will use prejudice themselves. And prejudice only does one thing, that kind of helps you achieve an answer really quickly, and you say, "Yep, that's it," and you kind of get on your way. When it actually requires a lot more deeper sort of investigation.
Correct.
So when I kind of like see that reality, it gets more clearer and clearer when it comes to all of the life sciences. Almost like they're all corrupted, whether it's medicine or schooling system, banking, even the legal system, and knowing like the details of these sort of parts of our life which are so important, knowing the truth about them and applying the hikmah kind of, I think it's so integral in not only the survival of us, but I think it's what is required to become the inheritors of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And
Brother,
I think it's
in,
really on
in,
that
in
deep level.
biology,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
biology,
yeah.
um,
I love
you know
biology.
what, like single cell organisms, what they say is like started life, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's one cell that's split, correct?
yeah. I've
And,
seen it. It's yeah. There's an
and
atom.
then
You're looking
eventually
at
there's a spark in between that makes a
yeah.
new type of cell, correct?
Like I recall seeing something similar. Yeah.
Yes. So and there's no change to the way of God, and the way that God creates is always the same. God created Adam. From Adam, he took out of its mate,
Of
and then he made a
of
spark in between them, and
Oh,
there you go.
absolutely. Yes, of course. That I
That's
think is
wisdom.
more in your realm of hikmah. When it comes to like the worldly knowledge, what I would hit you back with is to kind of like try and show a different side of things. Um, is things like, let's say, now I don't know what your stance is on the vaccine, for example. Knowing about the industry, knowing about how we moved away from like the medicines that Allah gave us, and we moved on to petrochemical medicines. How did that happen? Is there an agenda behind it? Who are the people? What kind of people? What kind of organizations and corporations? What does their data tell us? And very importantly, like I
Yeah.
think it's so important to mention with the vaccine, discovered to have some really kind of dangerous things in there. If anyone has taken it, I will say there's a detox plan and it's all natural stuff. So do look out for that if you've taken it. But wouldn't
Brother,
yeah
you'll really enjoy your conversation with Waleed. Check your private chat in here in
yeah
StreamYard
inshallah.
right now. No,
Um,
no, check the private chat.
okay.
Do you see
So
something there?
yes, I do. So basically, what I was trying to get at is that obviously I'm trying to look at how the processes have gone from me as a Sunni in the world, and now this great kind of like guidance has turned up, and Allah's really guiding the hearts of many people. I believe that is just us getting our head out of the kind of where we were, but I really believe to really kind of become the inheritors of the earth
Right,
uh,
Waleed.
is to really try and build on that knowledge, to bring forth evidence-based knowledge, to bring worldly knowledge to people. And I think that knowing the truth would totally kind of help people navigate a lot better. So
100%, because that's the knowledge that helps people to discern from the truth and the falsehood.
yeah, and I think right now is obviously a very amazing time. One of the
For the
things,
people who
obviously,
care.
it's not just that. I think with this new chapter that we're going into, there's many ways of looking at it. There's a very dystopian side. There's obviously another side. But the way I look at it is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kind of like created world in chapters, the way we evolve. So
Right.
obviously there was an industrial revolution, things changed, and then nobody had a chance to become a somebody. Like it just got shaken, you know. And I think again something similar happened with the age of the internet. And now what's happening? It's really important for communities to come together and to kind of like really switch on and understand what is happening, and to identify the opportunities, because the opportunities are amazing. So yeah, it's just tying the hikmah and the knowledge and applying it to the world, and doing the best we can. So
Yeah, no, God bless you, bro. I'm glad you came up. It's very true, and we do have to look at
oh
what
brother, I've got a treasure trove of stuff. I swear to God, it will blow your mind. But obviously, I don't want to take you off topic. One thing I will mention though, just to kind of give it that kind of drama. One of these things I kind of discovered. Now, it was to do with the legal system. So I've obviously done a bit of business law studies, and within that legal system, there's this concept called a straw man. And that straw man concept, I'm not sure if you've heard of it. Legalese and straw man. Ever heard these terms?
legal straw man.
Legalese, and then there's a fictional straw man.
Yeah, is to fight a character that doesn't exist.
It's in the legal system, it's basically a representation of us when we get signed a birth certificate. Now, this birth certificate kind of puts us to the side and says, okay, well, you're going to stand over here, but we've got this thing called a government, and it's a company. Now, this company cannot deal with a person, a living person. So we've created this birth certificate, which has created a company out of you. Yeah. And this straw man is going to represent you where we presume that it's okay for you. And if you don't know how to kind of like challenge it, it's called acquiescence. So you acquiesce, you kind of like accept things as they are without kind of like saying no to them. So we're kind of tied into this law. And this law, what's really interesting, Brother Muhammad, is that it's known as maritime law. So it's not the law of the land, which is God's law. These guys have literally created this whole legal system. And you know what's crazy? It is the language that they speak is from a book called the Black Law Dictionary. And in the Black Law Dictionary, a human being
Easy,
is,
bro.
yeah, it's crazy.
Easy.
Yeah, will be.
Yes, there is a Black Law Dictionary where the words do not mean what they mean, but the individuals in the world, they take it to a certain understanding and they just don't correct your perception of the word. It is extremely, it's based in jinn.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you think there's a contractual tie? And maybe
Yes.
these this is it. And what's beautiful about having this conversation right now, because of this, I don't know, people say awakenings going on, whatever, there are a lot of little groups scattered around, which I hope for them to come together, who
The
are
reason why I
actually,
said easy, bro, it's just because people can fall into a rabbit hole and they can start becoming paranoid in certain things if they're not,
I've gone
if
way
they're not
past that.
strong enough. If they're not strong in the Quran. I'm not saying you. I'm saying individuals that are not strong in the Quran, they will not be able to discern the truth from the falsehood, and then they would start to accept certain things that they're reading in such books, and then they would understand certain protocols, and they think that it's truth, but it's only truth because you've accepted it, but it's not truth. It's you're getting guided to hell at that point.
Yeah, but it's tied to us contractually, isn't it? Yeah.
But there's levels to this game. There's levels to this game, and there's different domains or fields that people are fighting.
Of course. Like when we were babies, we didn't know, so it's like, does it actually make any sense? Yeah.
The field that you chose is very deep state.
It's based on trauma, and it's based on
That's the
no
only way
matter
you
how much.
find yourself. That's the only
Well,
way you
I
find
try and
yourself in the jinn world. Is
well,
you
the
have to
thing
go
is,
through trauma.
yeah, I try and leave and walk away, and I've done that as much as possible. And it's almost like God has said, "No, this is the only thing that is going to work for you, and there's a purpose behind it." And I really believe that. I'm so glad to have got to where I have with the knowledge that I have, and obviously just trying to now make use of that to make it easier on people. So there are people out there right now who are trying to formulate kind of like processes to be able to remove people from that system. Some people have even gone on to some stock exchange and managed to put their birth certificate, numbers in, and managed to find themselves being traded and like kind of these kind of
Uh,
stocks and stuff. So it's crazy.
I'm not sure how much that is. That
Yeah.
would be accurate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it is interesting, and I do hope to. Yeah, thank you for the email.
Yeah.
Hopefully, me and Brother Walid can.
Have a nice
Um,
conversation, because you guys would.
yeah,
He would really enjoy from you this
yeah.
conversation.
Well,
I
it's all
want to.
about evidence, I think, and I felt like a bit of sort of sadness in his voice and his desperation to know what's going on, and I really believe that there's certain things that would blow his mind. I mean, there's this front cover of The Economist. The front cover, the title is "A Rough Guide to Hell." So I got the front cover and I put it into ChatGPT and I said, ChatGPT, please decipher what this message is. It would absolutely blow your mind. So it's literally just a caricature of all these different things like banking and world leaders, and there's a devil flying on one side with somebody dressed in Hamas gear. There's somebody on the other side dressed in Israeli gear, and ChatGPT basically says it's called A Rough Guide to Hell, where the world leaders are mocking us, and they're basically saying that everybody here is gonna end up, in the, what do they call it, the grand hell scheme. So they do kind of, spread these things in
They
your
have
face.
to, because it's about control. So it's either through
Yeah.
fear or through delusions. So
Yeah.
when you start to understand these concepts, you're able to break free. You're able to
Yeah.
break free, and you're able to see more of the truth. But
Yeah.
this is just in regards to, as you said, the worldly life, like
Yeah. Yeah.
Deen.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, this is the thing. I mean, I envision a world where we can bring these things both together. And I
We
kind
have
of
to
like,
destroy it. There's no, you don't need to teach it. You need to destroy it, because
yeah.
the art itself is black. It's a
Of
dirty
course.
art. So
Of
teaching it,
course. Yeah.
teaching is not good. You want to break it. There's a difference.
Of course. The way to break it is to build something new. So
Exactly.
obviously, some,
No, you need to defeat it. So it's by
of
teaching, as
course.
you said. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So it's replacing the truth with the lies, basically, across the
Right.
board. And I think that's really something that's going to happen in the near future. But I think there's a lot of chaos before we get there,
Correct.
based on World Economic Forum plans and all the rest of it. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
been really interesting. Thank you for listening to me. I don't want to kind of take more of your time. You've given me enough time. I wish you the best, total best for everything that you do in the
God
future.
bless you, Samir. And I
Um,
appreciate you coming up,
I
man.
almost was
Appreciate it.
missing you earlier. I was looking at my notifications thinking, there better be one today. It's Friday. You've got us hooked. It's crazy.
Mashallah. I
Because
was actually really
honestly,
tired. I had to, like, I didn't sleep much last night, and then I like fell asleep at like 1 o'clock my time, and I woke up at like 3:30. But I was really tired, and this is just like 2 hours of sleep, and I was like, I have to do this stream today.
that's
And,
savage.
yeah, so thank God.
It's,
God bless you,
it's,
bro, and I appreciate you coming up, man.
thank you. Thank you. God bless you too. See you. See you.
Thank you.
Take care.
God bless.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Peace. May God bless him. And that's a tough road. The underground is a tough road. I was trying to find a video as well, so that I don't think I have it ready. But I'm gonna find this video, and it'll help you also see certain things. But oh, I think there's this one that I want to show. Okay, so there's more to this, but this actually aligns with also the Quranic principles, by the way. And this is about jinn. Okay. So there's this thing right here. I'm going to put on the screen. I just want to turn up the volume somehow. How do I turn up the volume here? Doesn't it have it? Hello?
I want to hang out with you all the time.
1 second.
What's the high IQ conspiracy?
Why can't I see the volume? Man, here it is. Okay, cool. So here we go. Share this tab. He's gonna say a lot of information in a very short time. Try to pay attention, okay?
Conspiracy that you believe with your entire existence to be true. What's the high IQ conspiracy that you believe with your entire existence to be true? I'm talking something.
Oh man, sorry. Oh, give me a second. Maybe I'm not supposed to put it. No, I'm just kidding. Just give me 1 second. I clicked something that I shouldn't have clicked. Oh, I need a minute. This is about jinn. Okay. This is about jinn. And if anyone was scared of jinn, you need to reassess yourself. Jinn ain't scary, but if you get scared of jinn, then the jinn has a hand on you, and they will keep bothering you. But there's a way to defeat the jinn by listening to what this guy is explaining to you about jinn. Okay? You guys ready for this? Here we go. Add to stage. So what's a high conspiracy theory that you believe is true?
You believe with your entire existence to be true. I'm talking something way out there to the point that if you told somebody, they would probably recommend that you get medicated.
Demon is demon. Mon is moon, meaning emotion. D means negative. A demon is a negative emotion, which possess your mind, body, and spirit. You have a physical and an astral body. Constant negative thoughts and emotions create astral energy, which latch onto your body. These entities are created by your own thought forms. You feed them by giving them mental and emotional energy. Every addiction you have is an astral entity that you have created. The astral plane is the screen you have in your mind that allows you to vision an apple, and you have a whole body there. The more thoughts and emotions that you give to these entities, the stronger impact they have over your physical body. I, Magi Nation, you are a magician bringing thoughts and emotions into physical reality. You've been doing magic your whole life. Thoughts and emotions are more powerful than you think. They are the commands that bring things into physical reality.
What's the high IQ conspiracy that you believe with your entire existence to be?
And there is a lot of truth to that, where when you are capable of being extremely positive and you put God as your Lord, you have now angels that come to you with positivity and positive way of thinking that affects your physical as well, right? So in a gym, when you're working out with the positive energy, you're capable of outlasting somebody that has the exact same characteristics as you, the same body fat, the same willpower, but his thoughts are negative. He fails much faster than you do because of your positivity. Your physical body is completely dependent on the spirit that's inside of you. Now, this individual that he was saying that where demons are coming with negative thoughts, it's something that's very well known. That's why they're demons. It's the opposite of what an angel gives you. But yeah, and that's why, like, you see people who have really, really negative, deep thoughts about God. Those are the ones who have possessions. And there's sometimes like the spirit of somebody else has the capability of affecting you, and it can keep bothering you. This is, anyways. Afritun min al jinn is like a conniving or like a smart one, like a afrit, like he's very slippery. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we are bringing the stream to an end. It has been now close to 3 hours. Thank God. All praise to our Lord, Lord of the worlds, and thank you very much for joining. We're going to have some few more debate streams coming up, truth over everything. And with that said, peace.